Last time on Square Roots, school's out on Korriban when we confront the world's crustiest Sith. We go spelunking through our past in the Cave of Blunders, and we assure the supremacy of the monarchy on Onderon. Yes, Queen!
Hello, hi, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Brandon, and with me is Vanessa Yaddle. Vanessa.
It's me, Vanessa Yaddle Vanessa. I'm here. I'm Vanessa Yaddle Vanessa.
What do you think about Yaddle?
What's Yaddle?
Okay, I wasn't sure if you might have been up on Yaddle lore or not. Why don't you type it in? Yaddle. Put that into the computer box.
Okie dokes. One moment here. Just open up computer box screen.
Yep.
And get my type-in fingers ready. Crack my knuckles. Put into the searchy Yaddl. Wait, before I do it, is Yaddle the Lady Yoda?
Yes.
I do know who Yaddle is.
You do.
Here's what I know about Yaddle.
Okay.
Yaddle is a Lady Yoda.
Yep.
Yaddle lived in a pit for 100 years.
What?
And people threw scraps to Yaddle. And Yaddle fed on the Force.
Oh. Sort of a stone soup kind of situation.
Is it possible that I know more about Yaddle than you do?
I don't know anything about Yaddle, but I wanted to talk to you about Yaddle.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up. Let's see. Let me scroll down through this Wikipedia here.
So, since Yaddle has like a full head of mom hair, which is...
I don't know if I'd say that. I mean, Yaddle has a very high forehead, certainly.
Right. But she has a lustrous mane of, like, very human-looking brown hair.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here's the People Also Ask section of my search.
Yep.
Is Yaddle Yoda's wife?
Ooh.
Is Yaddle Yoda's sister?
Oh.
How did Yaddle die?
Ooh.
What is Yaddle's race?
Okay, we can answer one of those questions today on Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. Which one would you like to answer?
I would like to know if Yaddle is Yoda's sister.
Okay. Well, click it and see.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize I was asking
you can
and
ask me.
answering the question.
Oh, okay.
Now I have it right here. I'll click it.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't say. It just says Yaddle was operated in the 1999 film Star Wars Episode 1. The model for Yaddle was originally created by concept artist Ian McCraig as a sketch for a young Yoda, but was later put in the movies as a Yaddle,
right,
a female member of Yoda's species.
Do you think a young Yoda would have had a lustrous full head of hair, or do you think it's like I forgot what the name of it is, but like a biological gender signifier?
I think that he would have had just as much hair as a female Jedi, if he had any hair at all. Which I suppose he does when he's older.
Yeah, he's got like long wispy hair.
Mm-hmm. I always thought that was just sort of like out of control ear hair.
Oh.
Now, let me see if I can find the Wikipedia entry for Yaddle, because I'll be honest, I'm not seeing a lot about her living in a pit. But I can't have made that up.
Why on earth would you make that up?
I don't know.
So while you do that, I'll talk about what the show is. This show is a podcast where we play a classic RPG one chunker at a time. It's sort of like a Let's Play, but for your ears, or a book club, but instead of musty old books that no one likes, it's video games.
Sorry, yeah, I'm paying attention. I'm not just reading about Yaddle now.
Oh, okay. The species of, in Wikipedia is listed as Yoda's species, which is once again unnamed.
What Yoda lived in the pit?
I don't see anything
Sarlacc
about...
pit? That's not what I'm looking for. Dark Side Cave. Yaddle, we have, but Baby Yoda. Let me see. Jedi Master lived in pit.
Growing up, we heard tales of a green, pointy-eared legendary Jedi Master, and... Are you talking about Master Yoda? Yes, he is very legendary. Wait, what? Who? No, I'm talking about Master Yaddle. This is dialogue between Grease Dritus and Seer Junda. Two of my favorite characters. And that is not ironic. I really like those two.
I don't know who they are.
Seer is played by, was it Deborah Wilson from Mad TV? She is in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Had no idea.
She's like the second lead character. And Grease is the funny four-armed Muppet-looking buddy of yours who pilots the ship.
I remember that feller.
Yeah.
I am not finding anything about any Jedi having lived in a pit and used the Force to keep themselves alive on the internet.
You know, it was a story I believed. So
it seems right, doesn't it?
I don't know. I don't follow that much about Star Wars.
I can't have made this up. Why would I? And for what purpose?
You just woke up and had a dream. Yaddle was in a pit.
Was Yoda in the pit?
Is Yaddle Baby Yoda's mom?
She seems a little old to... Well, I guess it takes place... Nah, well...
He's 50.
Could be. That's true, he's 50.
She looks several hundred years younger than Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
She does not look as old as Yoda.
Yeah, so she could be.
I will put that as my headcanon.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything here about Yoda living in a pit. Look, listen, someone knows what I'm talking about. Someone knows the story of the Jedi who was imprisoned in a pit and everyone thought that they were dead, but they weren't dead because the other prisoners would throw down scraps and then the Jedi used the Force to keep themselves alive. And it became like a legend among the other prisoners that in the hole was a Yaddle. I swear it was Yaddle.
Why did she just float out?
She couldn't float out.
Okay. Why not?
Right into... I don't know why. Can't you tell that I barely know what I'm talking about?
All right,
and in fact, may have made this up entirely.
But I love it. I love this deep Yaddle lore. So, I thought that Master Vrook was a Yoda.
Me too.
And I was very disappointed when it was an Ed Asner.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought he was a Yoda as well. I guess it just sounds like a Yoda kind of name.
Right. But let's, before we get into Master Vrook, which does sound like maybe all the Yodas have to have Y names?
Maybe.
I don't think,
Yoda,
no.
Yaddle.
I don't think the Yoda from the last game had a Y name. But let's, before that, how about we level up?
Yeah, I'm going to level up by continuing to Google until I prove that... Okay. I'm going to let it go.
Meanwhile, I'm going to Google the other Yoda's name from Knights of the Old Republic.
Someone out there in the internet knows what I'm talking about, and they will tell me. In the meantime, I will tell you how I leveled up. I watched 2 upsetting things about families. The first one was a documentary, and the second one was a fictional film. Which one do you want to hear about first?
The fictional film.
All right. The fictional film was called Hereditary. I had heard about this movie, that it was very spook 'em up.
I loved it.
Oh, I heard that Toni Collette was in it.
She's
great. So I did
great.
want to watch it. She's great. Her performance was great. I will say that I found it not very spooky once you actually find out what's going on, if that makes any sense.
Really?
I think that the spookiness comes from the unknown. And once it's like, here's this actual external threat, and this is what it is, it's not as spooky to me.
You didn't find
Also,
the shot where you're just looking at the frame and then suddenly realize someone is in the shot?
That was a little spooky, for sure. I think it was like it's sort of in a closet, and it was spook 'em up.
No, she's not in the closet.
No?
You know the one where they're on the ceiling?
Oh, yeah.
That freaked me the hell out.
Yeah, that was freaky. But in general, the type of scary that they had in this film is not a type that scares me. Everyone knows that what I am afraid of are dinosaurs and ghosts that you don't know are ghosts, but then they reveal themselves to be ghosts. This was neither a dinosaur nor a ghost that you don't know is a ghost and they reveal themselves to be a ghost. And so I was not scared of them. But it's still a good movie. And if you like to be sort of creeped out by psychological uncertainties, then it's a good movie for you. It also has Ann Dowd in it, who I love. So check it out.
Who is Ann Dowd?
She plays Sister Lydia in Handmaid's Tale. It's probably what she's best known for at this point.
Was she the friend who introduces her to, like...
Yes.
Okay. What did you think of the big crash scene?
Oh, it was definitely disturbing.
That and the next 10 minutes were, I think, some of the most harrowing film. And once again, I would, if you have some trauma stuff about that kind of stuff, I would Google maybe content warnings for this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that graphic until the very end, but it's definitely explicit in what is happening.
Yeah.
But again, not as scared of those kind of spooks. Because I'm not.
Well, what about the nonfiction?
The nonfiction was very scary. It's called Abducted in Plain Sight. And it's a documentary on Netflix. And it is the story of a kidnapping in this particular family, and sort of how the family came to know the person who kidnapped the child. And the sort of compelling twist of it is the child was kidnapped once, and then they sort of just decided to all go on with their lives as if nothing had happened. And then later she is kidnapped by the same person again, who remained in their lives for a variety of reasons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's very strange. It takes place there I think they all lived in Utah in the 70s, and they were all Mormons, and it sort of explores how different taboos and also the church and the attitudes of the community kind of led them to be in this situation where this happened twice to the same child.
Right.
And it's very candid, and it has in it every member of the family, and they're all really open about what happened and don't try to make excuses. And I really appreciated that. And then it also has the FBI agent who was kind of in charge of it. And he talks about what he didn't know at the time, because it was the 70s, and what they didn't know about, he was still kind of trained on stranger danger and not on threats coming within a community. So It's very interesting very powerful and really educational if you want to kind of understand how things like this can happen. But it's very weird, and it's, I hope, not something that could happen today, but I'm probably being naive in thinking that, so it's a watch I recommend, but it's not an easy watch.
I know a fellow who was dating a guy who was, I think, like 18 or 19 and had just left the Mormon church. Mm-hmm. And these are two men. And the church came by to that person's house and the boyfriend's house and took him, the ex-Mormon, in a van. And he was gone for weeks.
Actually allowed to do that to an adult.
Yep.
I mean, you're not actually allowed to do it to a child either.
I mean, he might have consented. Who knows? Like, it's one of those things. It's not like they put a bag over his head. But
yeah.
It's...
Well, in this case, I think the girl was like 12 or something when she first was taken. And this guy, spoiler alert, took her out of the country for months and then was caught and found by the police and sent back to the United States. And then they kind of just decided to go on with their lives. And they just decided that they had been on vacation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's all I'll say about that. John, how did you level up? What Jedi was in the pit? I am never going to let this go.
I did not find anything about your mystery pit, but I love the story. I was the character I was thinking of was Vandar Tokar, who I always think is Vrook. I mix those two up. Because Vrook sounds like a Yoda species, and Vandar sounds like an Ed Asner. But it was the other way around. What have I done lately? I've played... I left the house. Not to go to work.
Congratulations.
I felt very proud of myself. I went to a wine tasting bar in the basement of this place in Blood Alley in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. In a very weird part of town. Like, you have to take this Batman looking alley, you know, where Martha Wayne and Mr. Wayne get shot.
Yeah.
Looks a lot like that alley from the movie in 1989. And you go to the basement and it's like this beautiful wine cellar. And I did not drink because, unfortunately, I'm on night shift. So I feel like drinking when I get up would be a bad idea. Mm-hmm. But I went there and I had a meat plate. I was thinking about having a cheese plate to discuss with Vanessa.
I love a cheese plate so much.
But I had the meat plate and it was very nice. There's this it was like a prosciutto but a little different, and it was so good. And I recommend it. The meat plate there was very nice. I
do love artisan meat.
Yeah, me
But not
too.
as much as I love artisan cheese. But you know what goes well together? Meat and cheese.
I know. I almost wanted to get both, but one plate was $16, so I wasn't going to get like 2 plates, because that would be $32 plus tax and tip. And that's about it. I've been playing this game, and I've been playing a little bit of Final Fantasy XIV, but not very much. I got a unicorn mount.
Ooh.
I still find those games very baffling.
MMOs
have
or
so many
Final
rules.
Fantasy games.
MMOs in general have so many rules. Mm-hmm. I've been watching The Office again. That has been interesting. The episode Hot Girl, we were talking about it in the group chat. I think Vanessa was super busy that day, though.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all, so I'm going to assume it didn't happen.
That is the one with Amy Adams, who does look quite a bit like Jenna Fisher, which is sort of the reason that she was hired. This was about 6 months before her sudden Oscar win.
Oh.
Or nominate. I don't know if she won or was nominated for Junebug. And
I've been rewatching The West Wing, which is one of my very favorite shows of all time, and she pops up in that as well.
How do you feel? How far are you now in the West Wing?
I have just started season 5, which is generally considered to be kind of where it goes downhill.
Right. That's the one with the where what's her face? Abby is dating the prince.
Yeah, it's Zoe though. Abby is the first lady.
Well,
yes.
she's got some free time.
Yeah, yeah. It's that whole plot, and it didn't seem realistic. And John, what's his name? John Goodman plays a character who comes off as kind of cartoonish.
Right. He's the sort of, they're sort of basing him on Newt Gingrich a little bit.
Yeah. And it just doesn't quite work. But I mean, I still love the show, and even the quote unquote bad seasons are still better than, 98% of what's ever on television.
Right.
But I find it enjoyable to rewatch every few years.
Yeah. I do really like that show. I think maybe some of my appreciation of that kind of stuff was dulled a bit by the current administration.
Yeah.
I find it a bit harder to get that. I feel like that the show has such a blind spot for what led to Trump.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, it was created by a lot of political people worked on the show, but it was ultimately a West Coast Los Angeles show, that kind of has a particular perspective about it.
Right. And I think it has a very, a faith in institutions that doesn't resonate in the same way now.
It's true.
And I think that may, certainly based on your experience and where you've, what part, this is as a non-American, but what part, where you're from, maybe you already had a shaken faith in institutions.
Yeah.
But I think it brought it to more people.
I think it's a show that it trades in idealism for sure. So it's kind of like, here is what we aspire to and hope for, and take it as that, rather than a reflection of reality.
Right. I think that there can be reality to it. I think there are people who do work in government that really do want to do change. And I don't think that is a Democrat thing only. But I think that it can be any very political person who wants to do what they feel is right and not make a killing. And
yeah. And that's what I really like about it. It's, very intelligent characters doing what they think is the right thing, whether it is or not, ultimately.
Right.
But they try their best.
Yes. There are some, what, in the first 5 seasons, what are 1 or 2 of your favorite episodes?
Oh, golly. I have such a soft spot, and I don't know quite why, for somebody's going to emergency, somebody's going to jail.
That's an odd episode.
Isn't it odd to choose it? But for whatever reason, I think it's the use of music in it, and it's a Sam-centric episode, and that's not really my favorite character, but something about it just works for me. I also really love Shibboleth, which is a holiday episode. Mm-hmm,
with the Chinese refugees.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I don't know. What do you think?
I really like the episode where there's a gunman shooting the president, and also Lyman there, Josh Lyman.
Yeah, I was actually, that was on the tip of my tongue to mention. That 2-part episode is just really good.
There's a lot of exciting stuff that happens there. Anything that's very CJ heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's great and a fun character.
She's fantastic.
Even though Ainsley Hayes was based on Ann Coulter, I quite like the episode where she gets a job at the White House and people are jerks to her.
Mm-hmm. That one's good.
I like the the council man, which is sometimes John Larroquette, or one time John Larroquette, and then the rest of the time is Oliver Platt.
Yeah.
Pratt.
He's great at that as well. Platt?
Chris Pratt,
it's one
Oliver
of them
Platt.
Chris Pratt, Oliver Platt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is good as well. I like, I don't know, the whole gunman plot line is really good. I really like Toby. Like, he's a really complicated character, I feel like. And so I like when we get to see him doing things. Love anything with CJ and Danny. I don't know. It's like, I think there are a few episodes that really stand out on their own to me, if that makes any sense.
Right. I understand. So the hot girl episode is about a lady who's like a vendor who goes to offices selling stuff, played by Amy Adams, and she's selling purses. And at first, Michael is like, "Oh, we don't do solicitors, no vendors. Get her out of here." But then he sees her, and it's like, "Oh, she can set up office." And it's about all the single men in the office, kind of circling her. And trying to get her attention in a very realistic and very well-observed manner. This episode was written by Mindy Kaling.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's a very, very, I think it's the best season 1 episode, because season 1 of The Office is kind of rough. It's before
I never got into that show, but that episode sounds interesting.
I would watch it because I think it's the first good episode. They change the tone of the show in season 2. Season 1 is very dark and negative. Season 2, they make Michael more likable.
Yeah, I think I heard about that, because at first he was more like the Ricky Gervais character that the British love, but Americans are not as tolerant for that kind of character.
Right. And in season 2, they make him trying to do the right thing, but he's an idiot. And just in over his head. And I think that's a more likable position. He's still annoying and racist and sexist and all that, but they make him more fun and less soul-sucking. What is your thing you want to mention before we get into it?
Here it comes. Yaddle appeared in a few comics and novels in what's now considered Star Wars Legends. Almost 300 years before she was put on the council, Yaddle was the Padawan to Jedi Knight Polvin Kutt. While on a mission with her master on the planet Koba, the two Jedi were betrayed and ambushed by the Advozi's warlords known as Tulok. Kutt, whose family was murdered by the Advois, was killed when he attempted to take revenge on Tulok, leaving his Padawan captured. Yaddle was subjected to various forms of torture and interrogation before the Advos finally left Koba. Before leaving, Tulak imprisoned Yaddle in an underground pit, leaving her to die. Yaddle remained in her underground prison for over a century, where she became known as the One Below. She was kept alive and fed on a sort of ritual by the Kobans until she eventually had an opportunity to escape. Yaddle lived in a pit.
Thank you for that wonderful Yaddle fact.
You are welcome. Unfortunately, it is no longer considered canon, and that is why it's difficult to find on the internet.
Right. It's a legend.
The Legend of Yaddle, which I did not make up!
All right. So, first item on the holocron. And also, I was very excited that this chunker has so many holocrons. It has literally...
So many! We love holocrons!
A room full of holocrons.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if this game
would
have
our naming convention pays off.
Yup. And they're whispery, like ASMR holocrons.
But like nasty ASMR.
Yeah. You're going to punch them. You're going to punch them in the head. You're going to punch them in the head and tell them they're stupid. Don't you want to punch them in the head?
Give them a good punch. Not our only ASMR moment in this game, so we should probably dive into it and talk about it.
Oh boy. So, first note is reminder, ask Vanessa about her thoughts on Yaddle. I would consider that done.
I imagine I surprised you with the extent of my thoughts on Yaddle.
They are great and accurate. Nice. Speaking of nice and accurate, the thing I want to level up about was I watched all of Good Omens because I have been, I have two nights off. I work nights, and I decided that, on the second night off after I'm done posting the podcast, I should not play video games. I should do something other than that, like read a book or watch a show or watch a movie.
Sure.
So I watched all of Good Omens, the miniseries on Amazon Prime.
And?
I quite liked it.
Yeah, me too.
I thought it was a lot of fun. I liked the cast. I like your friend there that you really like that I disparaged. Michael.
David Tennant?
No, Michael.
Oh, no, Michael Sheen.
Michael Sheen. He was very, very good. David Tennant
You did disparage him. Oh, he didn't deserve it.
David Tennant was very good. I thought the casting was a lot of fun. The kid became pretty spooky towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite enjoyable. I like the Hellhound. I mean, I loved this book as a teenager. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I would say, for many years I called it my favorite book, but I haven't read it in 20 years, so I don't know if I can anymore.
Right. But I understand your hesitation to watch it based on that.
Right. And so it was very interesting going back and sort of not just reliving not just watching it, but also reliving kind of my memories of reading the book and where I was when I read it in my life as a teenager.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed it.
It was quite a lot of fun. A hearty recommend. I also, I was kind of hoping Jim was going to be here for this, but I've taken Jim's advice, which is to remove, if you feel stressed out about social media, take the apps off your phone. And certainly you don't have to. This is not, some people when they do a thing are like, you have to do this. It's changed my life so much.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to be that guy because if you like doing it, it's totally fine. But for me, it was making me anxious all the time and feeling very sad and stressed out. So I removed Facebook and I removed Twitter from my phone. I will still check them at home sometimes, but it has reduced my Twitter usage by about 90%. And for me, that has helped a lot.
I had a guy tell me once, you have to get rid of your TV. I got rid of my TV, and it's the best thing ever. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm not going to get rid of my TV.
Yeah, it's a thing that worked for me, and I can understand telling someone they have to do the same thing, but no, this is a thing that worked for me. It doesn't mean it'll work for you, but if you feel, I would only say that if you are feeling stressed out by social media, and if it is making you feel bad, but you're still compulsively checking it, taking a break is an okay thing.
You can always do what I do. Mm-hmm. Block everyone you dislike and don't have a personal Twitter account. Just use the show.
I don't think I realized how compulsively I was checking Twitter. Like, it was all the time. And I think stepping away from that was a good idea for me. And for you.
I knew you were going to tell me what to do.
Anyway, Holocron. Let's enter the Holocron. We are 35 minutes into this episode. Our listeners are going to be rebelling.
The listeners on the Facebook said that they love it when you and I are left alone and we just talk about things that are more interesting to us than the subject of the show.
Oh, well, that's good. Mm-hmm. So, let's listen to the Holocron. Let's go to the Dantooine. We're going to Dantooine. Take your ship to Dantooine.
Oh, no. There's a whole planet left.
Yeah, when I realized, like, oh, there's this planet full of subquests left to do. I thought Dantooine was, like, in the finale zone. So
I don't know why you let yourself be bullied into doing just one more episode of this show. For me, I'd already played it. It was fine. But for you, this was a lot of work.
This was quite a bit of work. But fortunately, like, I think we can get through the plot stuff in the finale really fast.
Yeah, because not a lot happens.
I do have some questions about the finale because I think you might have understood it better than me.
We'll find out.
Okay, so there's a whole planet left. Now, if you remember last time in Knights of the Old Republic 1, not last time on Square Roots. We were on Dantooine. You saw it get blown to bits, and the Jedi Council get killed, including Master Vandar.
Yeah. That little Yaddle, Master Vandar.
That little Yaddle. And why aren't we calling Baby Yoda Baby Yaddle?
I don't know.
Sexism.
It's speciesist. Yeah, it is sexism. I hope Baby Yoda does turn out to be a girl.
So it was blasted by Malik, Mr. Robomouth. And when you get there, everyone's like, hey, you're a Jedi, aren't you? I recognize you by the lightsaber. Could you kindly take your Jedi business elsewhere? We don't serve your kind here.
Yeah, they're like, we heckin' hate Jedi. The Jedi used to be here, and they're the reason that the planet got blown up. They didn't do a ding-dang thing to stop it from being blown up. We hate Jedi.
Now, Kunda, the city you've landed in, do you remember the Matali compound in KOTOR 1?
There was that family compound where the girl wanted to run off with the guy, and then Matt killed all of them.
Yes, exactly. Well, now the real estate is free for the entire city of Kunda to be established around it.
Wow.
The whole Dantooine map is identical to the Dantooine map in KOTOR 1. And when I say identical, I mean identical. Like, it's the same locations, all of them. There's that cave where you get the crystal. There's the Jedi facility. There's the Matali compound. There was a second compound where the other family lived, but that's gone.
Yeah, that's gone. Yeah, so it's the same map, but a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
And as with Korriban, they just kind of ran out of time or inspiration to build their own maps.
Yeah. It's quite stuff. It's very Final Fantasy X too, as I said last time. So you walk around this little, it's not a big planet compared to like Nar Shaddaa at all. I think it's like a quarter of the size of Nar Shaddaa. And there's a guy in Kunda who it's being run by the administrator lady, and then there's her like head of the militia, Zeron, or like he's the Republic soldier. There's a guy on this planet who's like, hey, can you investigate Zeron? Because I think he's working against the settlers. There's basically on this planet, there's settlers, there's the mercenaries, and there's the scavengers. There's 3 groups. Mm-hmm. And this side quest I didn't get anywhere in. I couldn't find any dirt on Zeron. Did you find any dirt on Zeron?
No, he seems fine. And in fact, when I got this side quest, I just told the guy, I'm like, look, y'all all gotta come together these days. And he's like, I guess you're right. So he just dropped it. And I
talked to him
the
again. He's like,
way.
It seems like Zaren's cool, actually, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, I wonder if it's sort of a dark side thing, like you can frame him or something like that. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Because he wanted to become like the Zeron, and I think he like the quest seems to be leaning on replacing him with this other guy. But it doesn't really go
this
anywhere.
Guy's whole thing is like, Zeron's cool, but he wants to follow all the laws instead of just some of the laws.
Oh, okay. And the scavengers are kind of jerks.
They're total jerks. They're like, this is our garbage heap. Get your own garbage heap, garbage.
The lady scavenger reminded me of Amy Sedaris' character on The Mandalorian.
Oh.
But
I
you
have not gotten that far.
Oh,
I know you love Amy Sedaris.
I do love Amy Sedaris. There's
like if you could replace me with Amy Sedaris on this show, you would do it in a heartbeat.
No, maybe Jim. Just kidding, Jim. We aren't replacing you with Amy Sedaris. We're all equally important.
It's cool. He's not going to listen to this anyway.
Wow. So a lot of these scavengers have been,
Sorry, I'm salty with Jim because he told me that horizontal stripes are on trend. It's a whole thing.
Oh, is that why you're talking about your toddies?
Yeah, that's why I was talking about it.
What? Is it
Moving on.
All right. I was just gonna ask, is that a hot drink, or is that like some kind of brandy?
Hot toddy. That's the war cry of the Ole Miss Mississippi. I don't know what they're called. Sluggers. That's a true story.
Wow. They need better battle cries.
Hot
It's not a very
toddy.
good battle cry.
You're gonna get Ole
so the
Miss on you now. They take this very seriously.
Scavengers are basically rooting through the remains of the Jedi Enclave from KOTOR 1 and getting all the special Jedi stuff. So you could buy lots of Jedi stuff from them. They're like, oh yeah, also we've got some buddies probably in that Enclave, and the lady scavengers, she's kind of sour, but if you tell her that you'll help rescue her friends, she just thinks you're another scavenger, and she's like, we don't have any room. No more room for scavengers. But
she does fancy to you if you say that you're a customer. Then she's like, ooh.
And she does like it if you bring the bodies of her friends back.
Yeah, who doesn't? Who doesn't love a good delivery of the bodies of your friends?
Yep. She's the only scavenger who seems to care about their friends. All the other ones are like, oh yeah, I guess my friend's in the sub-basement, but who cares?
Mm-hmm.
There's also a crystal cave, as we mentioned before, which happens to have a Kinrath queen, which Zeron asks you to kill. And if you get there, there's a super special crystal with your name on it.
Your name literally on it.
Literally on it. And it's
Castagracus crystal, in my case.
It's the most powerful crystal you could put in your lightsaber in the game. I didn't realize this because I always use my force powers, but I towards the end of the game, I was like, oh, maybe I should try attacking with a lightsaber. And it's like, I was doing just 200 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, probably should be using this more.
Well, I think the deal with the crystal with your name on it is that it is linked to you somehow. So as you level up, it levels up.
Yeah, it was like, if I use the crystal on one of the big end boss fights, like my lightsaber, I could kill that character in 2 hits, or two flurry attacks. So I know because of the restored content again, we are over leveled for the battles, but it was fine. I still found some of them kind of frustrating, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah.
And there's also walking around this crystal cave is a guy who has put stink sacks on him, glands.
Yeah, he's a really smelly friend.
He's a smelly friend, and because it's full of these Kinrath, and he has taken a Kinrath scent gland and squished it all over himself so that he doesn't get attacked by the Kinrath. And you can try to buy it off him, but he won't sell it. And you can also, there's a whole conversation tree of, well, can I touch your gland? He's like, well, you can touch my gland, just handle it very carefully. You don't want it to get all over you. There's like, it might squirt accidentally or something.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of gland talk.
There is a whole lot of gland talk, and if you do get your hands on the gland, he's like, okay, now give me back my gland, and you can be like, no way, sucker, I've got your gland now.
I wouldn't do that. Not to him.
No,
he's a friend.
Me neither. I did give it back to him, and then he's like, phew, I would have been the laughing stock of the hunters if I had lost my gland.
You're like, your gland's so big and soft. It's like we wrote that portion of the game.
How do you get your gland so pungent?
He really gets into gland care. So the next step is to go to the Jedi Enclave.
Woohoo!
We are looking for Master Vrook, who once again is not a Yaddle.
Disappointing. But surely we'll find a Jedi in the Jedi Enclave.
Oh, we do. We find a Padawan.
Sure.
She's a little loopy.
Yep. She got some issues.
This is, I believe, a restored content
is it?
piece. of the game. There's a subquest where, because I was reading the guide and the quest goes totally differently, where this farmer has had some stuff stolen from him. Mm-hmm. And you talk to the scavengers and like, well, no, we've had these stuff stolen from me too. And you find out that this Padawan, who's been living in the base since she was a teenager, has been she's been training Ligrex, which are like these like praying mantis-y type things, to steal stuff. She's been using her force to go like get supplies from people by
so
controlling
she can
the
live.
Ligrex. Yeah.
And you're like, hey, listen.
What did you say to her?
I was just like, hey, I get that like you're upset about everyone having died, but it's not like super not cool to train your Ligraths to steal things, and also they've been killing people. And then she's like, my Ligraths? No way. And you have fought to get to her about, 100 Ligraths at this point.
Yeah, she opens her door and six, 10 at you at once. And she's very upset that you killed all her Ligrax.
Yeah, she's like, my special pets.
But you can talk her into going to get help. And I forget where you tell her to go, but she does leave. Mm-hmm. You tell her to, go find some friends or maybe go to Kunda or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where she's off to.
Yeah.
Maybe Telos? Does she go to Telos? To go to the academy there?
That's a death sentence. I hope not.
Yeah, me too. Well, maybe she didn't quite make it.
So, otherwise, there's a special person in the basement. A special man.
There is a very special man just for us ladies. And his name is... Go ahead.
The Disciple?
Yeah. His name is Disciple.
I don't get to recruit... He has a real name like Micah or something, right?
Yes, but his character is tagged as Disciple.
He is not really a character in my game. So I don't have a ton to say about him. He's not a Jedi, but he's like a Jedi fan.
So he's like as a female character, you get to know all about this guy. Disciple was also a Padawan. Or not quite a Padawan. He was like a little kid, in the Jedi school. And he tells this whole story about how he was learning to be a Jedi, and then one day a very special teacher came and taught some stuff, and he knew then that he could never have any teacher except that teacher, and that teacher was you, the female player character.
Miss Fitzhenry?
Yes, Miss Fitzhenry.
Bugsy, Disciple.
So, he is totally into your female player character, and he's like, please take me with you. I can help you so much because I'm so into going with you and learning from you and hanging out with you. And then you can be like, well, do you want me to resume your Jedi training? And he's like, heck yes. Oh my god, dreams come true. I'm finally going to be a Jedi with you as my master. It's all I've ever wanted.
Dreams can come true. I'm finally going to become a Jedi with you as my master. It's all I've ever wanted. Yeah,
he's not great. Like, he doesn't have a whole lot of personality. I was hoping that Disciple might be my answer to Aten, who is, terrible. But Disciple is just, boring. Disciple's not funny. Disciple's super into meditation. Disciple just wants to be your student. Disciple doesn't really have any insights. He's into history. He wants to be a historian. Yeah, he sucks.
Aww. He kind of looks like that guy from Die Hard 1 who's like really into John McClane's wife, but then
Yeah. He does. He has, it's not like gray hair, but it's like a very sandy blonde hair. And he's not cute, although Mira is constantly talking about how cute he is.
Oh.
She's like, Disciple's kind of useless, but he sure is eye candy. Is that why you brought him on board? So we can look at Disciple? And I'm like, no. And she's like, that Disciple, wink, wink. And Atten does not like Disciple. Atten's like, you get little cutscenes with him, and he's like, you think Disciple's like better looking than me? Do you think she likes Disciple more than me? Like, do you think that Disciple maybe should leave? Because Disciple sucks, huh? Disciple makes him very insecure.
Well, people just love Disciple.
Yeah. Ladies love cool Disciple.
That's how it goes. So, you can recruit him if you're a lady. Otherwise, he's like, oh, I'll see you back at Kunda. And when you get back to Kunda, he's there on the phone ratting you out to, what's his face? Not Kalo Nord. What's your Carthonasi?
Oh.
He's like,
Disciple's a total suck up.
Yeah, he's like, hey, Karth, that lady you wanted to tell me about, wanted me to tell you about is here. Or the guy, I guess. Yeah.
Man, Disciple, come on. And
also, there is you find a little recording of or a datapad talking about how Master Vrook has been kidnapped around a pile of bodies that have been lightsabered.
Yeah.
In the
he
library.
Didn't go down without a Vrook fight.
In the library where the Disciple is, there's like he's just hanging out with a big pile of bodies. That must not smell good.
No, and you don't really have an option to be like, what's with the bodies? He's just like, I'm Disciple, I'm here reading books. I love you.
He's hot for teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Which is inappropriate.
It is. I don't know how old he's supposed to be in relation to your teacher, but his whole story about how he was a kid and then she came and taught a lesson is very suspect to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's also a scavenger down in the basement that you can rescue. When he gets back to his friends, they're like, you should probably have asked for a reward, huh? Sucker! Yeah. And then there's the assault on Kunda, which is the final part. Well, actually, no. I guess the final part is that you can you find out that he's been taken to the Kinrath cave.
Mm-hmm, so where you already were. So I'm like, I guess I'll go to that room with all the stuff in it and the cage that was just empty otherwise.
Yeah. So I went back there, and now suddenly there's all these mercenaries in there, and I just hit Force Wave a couple of times. They all died.
Mm-hmm.
And then I rescued Master Vrook, and he's like, you idiot. Mm-hmm. I was here getting information from these mercenaries. I was trying to save Kunda. You've ruined my plans, you moron.
Yeah, he's a real Black Widow. He was like, I was in the middle of an interrogation. But he's just a jerk in general. He's like, oh, it's you, the exile, who we probably should have killed or whatever. You suck.
And hold on a sec. I'm just getting the filmography of Ed Asner. So this is Ed Asner, who you might know from El Dorado?
The cartoon?
JFK?
Sure.
They call me Mr. Tibbs?
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
Gargoyles the movie, The Heroes Awaken as the voice of Hudson?
I know who Hudson is.
Elf as Santa Claus?
Now that's a role.
The Animal?
I don't know what that is.
I feel like I think he's more famous than he is.
Ed Asner's been in a lot of things, and I don't know why you're just rambling off random nonsense.
The movie Food Fight?
Why are you doing Ed Asner so dirty? Hold up.
Okay, tell me some of your favorite Ed Asner films or television shows.
Ed Asner. IMDb. All right, here we go. I'm about to drop some Ed. He is a television legend.
Okay.
Ed Asner was on the Mary Tyler Moore Show? Is this a truth?
Maybe? I'm looking.
You would have to scroll way back.
There, yes, 166 episodes of the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Yeah, I think that's sort of how he came into prominence. Goodness gracious, how many credits does he have on here? This goes all the way back to first credit in 1957.
He was in a show called Lou Grant, based on his character from the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Lou Grant.
He was in Gunsmoke. He was in Ironside.
Gargoyles.
He was in Gargoyles. He was in the Mod Squad as Sergeant Ed Lassiter.
He was one of the ghosts in the X-Files episode with Lily Tomlin. The Christmas ghost episode. That was a good episode.
Lou Grant. He was Lou Grant in all 114 episodes of the TV show Lou Grant.
Well, he's also Lou Grant in the Mary Tyler Moore Show, as I said like a minute ago.
Oh, sorry.
He's in Rhoda as Lou Grant as well.
He was in 21 episodes of The Bronx Zoo.
All right, I feel like this is not a fertile source of comedy or interest, so let's move on. But that is the voice of Master Vrook, is Ed Asner.
He was the voice of J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man the Animated Series.
Oh. J.K. Simmons are bust.
Anyway, the point about Ed Asner is that he's one of those actors who has been acting his whole life, longer than you or I have been alive, and all respect to my man, Ed Asner.
Do you think his name would be better if it was Ed Asner?
Of course, I think that.
Okay. So you can ask him about yourself, but at this point, he tells you the exact same stuff as every other Jedi you've rescued so far. Yeah. It's like, yes, we didn't take away your force powers. You took them away yourself because of what you did. You shouldn't have watched those videos of us talking behind your back. Where'd you find that out?
We didn't want you to know what we were talking about behind your back, dummy. That's why it was behind your back. Also, you suck. You went with Revan. You suck.
I can't tell you the secret about you until all the Jedi are here on Dantooine, and we only do that once you've found the Sith Menace. And they're like, well, I've found the Sith Menace. Like, oh, well, you have to go back to your ship and go somewhere else and then come back, and then we'll have a talk.
Well, and he also wants to stop the mercenaries who are going to attack the settlement.
Right. That is definitely a thing you need to do. And so you gotta do like that one movie where the cowboys help a settlement prepare for an attack. You know that famous movie?
Magnificent Seven.
Yes, or the Seven Samurai, if you will. And I found out about this quest because a merc says, hey, do you want to help me tear down the defenses of Kunda? I'll make it worth your while. And told
you're like, heck no.
No, I was like, sure I will, buddy. Wink.
Oh.
I lied. Except that I couldn't follow it. Like, you have to start that quest with Kunda if you want to do the good guy version. So, I thought the lying would get me somewhere fun. It did not.
Too bad.
So, so basically the mercenaries are about to plan an assault on Kunda, and you have just enough time to prep their defenses. Vrook will not help you until the town is saved. So you can fix robots, you can fix turrets, you can heal people, you can recruit militia, you can give a nice speech, and you can put down more mines.
Yeah. I did it all.
I ran out of mines.
Oh, no. I had a lot of mines. I don't know if I put down the amount they were looking for, though. I just put down, like, as many as I felt like. Is there a certain amount that you're supposed to put?
Yeah, it gives you a notice if you put down because I did one side of it, but I ran out of mines and couldn't get the message that I did it properly on the other side.
Oh, I guess I didn't do it properly then, because I just put down whatever I felt like.
Yeah. Yeah, it gives you like a message. There's enough mines on the west side. There's enough mines on the east side. Fixing robots is cool. You can like turn them on and turn them into mega terminators. The turrets, you just have to like turn them on basically. Right now they're going to aim at everybody, but you can tell them just to shoot at bad guys, which seems like a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, someone left this on evil setting. You can heal people who are sick in the hospital or fix the robo-droid to do it. And talking people, like you find that there's a spanner in one of the robots that got broken, and you can go bring that to this Greedo, and you're like, "Hey, Greedo, I found your spanner in one of the robots." He's like, "Okay, you got me. I was just selling parts." And I'm like, "Well, how about you stay and help, or else I'll rat you out." Which doesn't, what would you, not bribing, what's the word for that? Blackmail. Doesn't seem like a very Jedi thing to do, but you still can do it.
Mm-hmm. I also convinced a farmer that I'd helped out to help with the militia.
Me too. And that lady who just, like, complains about Jedis to you outside. I told her to join the militia as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I didn't really need them because I have Force Wave. And it just throws enemies backwards and kills them all. Although it still says I lost the fight and have to go inside at some point. Like,
yeah, it said that to me too. I think that must be scripted somehow.
Because that's for the big boss fight against the head mercenary guy. And he's like, your force powers won't work on me. I'm like, really? Boop. Just throw them across the room. Looks like they still work, buddy.
Yeah, turns out they do. Imagine that.
So, this was, at this point, we are just crushing them. We are super powerful Jedi. And then the town's real happy. Suddenly it's like, hey, everyone in the town likes Jedis again, because they're all suspicious about Jedis, because they're mad because they felt the Jedis brought all that death to the world. And even before that, they were bossy and told people what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So they weren't...
Which, guilty as charged.
Yeah, they were not super Jedi fan people. Super Jedi fan people.
Yeah. Nerds.
What did they know? So, next up, we get this is when we get our one-on-one with Vrook. And he's like, okay, well, you need to leave the planet, come back, and then I'll talk to you with all your other Jedi friends, because I guess you know where the Sith are and you sort of know everything. I'm like, well, do I know everything? Because I don't know who that 2D voice guy is, and I'm really confused about Darth Sion. He just seems to not die, and I think there's another Darth.
They're like, just go and come back later.
Speaking of 2D voice guy, you get another cutscene of Darth Nihilus, and he's force choking Tobin from the planet Onderon.
Yeah, our old pal Tobin, who opened fire on our ships.
Yeah, he's there was a cutscene at the end of the last chunker where Tobin did rat out you, and because Kreia told Tobin that, hey, there's a Jedi Academy hidden on Telos.
Yes, she did. I really am starting to feel suspicious of our friend Kreia, John.
What are you saying? Why would you be suspicious of her?
I'm just saying that everywhere we go, she seems to blackmail someone into our service, or take one of our enemies who we presume to be dead and bring them back to life. So I feel, I don't know what it is, but I have, I guess, a bad feeling about this.
But like you, she doesn't like Atten.
That's true. But I don't like her.
When Atten becomes a Jedi, there's a whole conversation between those two where he's like, well, I have no more secrets left. I've told my buddy about all my time as a bad guy. And she's like, oh, you still have much to lose. And she's like still threatening to kill him. And she's just,
yeah. I guess I like Atten better than Kriya, if I had to choose.
Right. And you kind of do. But we'll get there.
You kind of do.
So, Tobin was relaying that information to Darth Nihilus, who doesn't seem very happy about it, but I guess is going to go to Telos soon to bring an army to explode the planet. Meanwhile, you get back to the ship, and Kriya's like, come talk to me. The end is near. If you're ready.
The end is nigh.
When you initiate the sequence, things get a bit artsy and weird. It's like the first time the cutscenes have some work to them, I think. So you walk in to the old enclave and the camera's like panning around and kind of following you, and it's kind of it's a really nice environment. They did a really good job with this. It's like overgrown. The big tree in the middle is chopped down. That used to be in the middle of that enclave. There's bodies everywhere.
Yeah, which is surprising because they have restored the facade of the building.
Yeah,
but I guess they didn't remove the bodies.
They've just been using like their force power to make it look a bit nicer. And
come inside. We're not full of bodies.
As you walk through it, it also cuts to Kriya walking through it. And she kind of gets she sits down at the base of where the tree was. And in my game, and this might be different in your game, in my game, the handmaiden shows up.
Oh, yeah, that didn't happen in my game. Because she doesn't travel with us. Right.
She shows up and Kriya's like, come sit with me. You must not interrupt this for now. And then you start talking to Vrook, Zez, and Kavar. And they're like, okay, we got big plans for you, buddy. Basically, we'll tell you what's going on. There is a hole in the Force, and you are making it worse.
You caused it with your genocide slaughter on Mandalore.
Yep.
You cut yourself off from the Force because it was too much to bear, but now you're connected to the Force again. Also, and they get really up in your grill, and they're like, you secretly manipulate everyone you know, and all of your companions are following you, not because they like you, but because you find people and you draw them into your web, and then you suck them of all their free will, and then they're gonna die, and you have no real friends. It's just your Jedi powers.
I thought that we were buddies.
Nope. You know, this whole time, how your influence has been gaining with these people, and you were dragging them up towards the light?
Yeah, because we were friends and we hung out.
No, because you have a super special power, and they don't even know what they're doing. So they're like, so you know what we're gonna do? You know how we keep saying we didn't cut you off from the Force before? Well, we're gonna cut you off from the Force.
And meanwhile, they talk about how you're growing dark and destructive, and it cuts to Kriya telling the handmaiden pretty much the same thing, but in glowing terms. It's powerful and strong.
And they were like, you were blinded, and Kriya's like, you could see.
Yeah. I really
you
like
were
this.
asleep. You were awake.
You were controlling them. You were gaining influence. And they are being big jerkos. I thought this was going to be like buddies getting together, and now all the Jedi gang is back.
Nope.
We're going to have fun, and we're going to attack the Sith menace. And they're like, no, the reason that we said that we're waiting till we're all here is so that we could control you and stop you. Like,
yep,
what?
And all take away your power together.
But I thought we were friends.
No, we're not friends. You don't have any friends. You only have people that you influence with your subconscious force power.
Yeah, and so I guess when you lost contact with the Force the first time, it was because of this whole, you did something so bad and you were so connected to people that when you killed all those people, it like ripped a part of you out.
Yeah.
And now they're like, well, this gotta stop. So we gotta stop you. And then Krea's like, hang on, handmaiden, I'll be right back. And she goes to, she's like, I wasn't sure if they were going to kill me or just take away my powers, because it seemed like they were going to kill me.
I thought they were just going to take away your powers, but nevertheless, she's like, one moment, what if we do this instead? Kill, 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 kill.
This was shocking.
Yeah.
This was a twist.
She waltzes in and straight up murders the whole Jedi Council. And they know her. Like, when they see her, they're like, oh no, it's heckin' you. And she's like, it's heckin' me. Kill, 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 kill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she was the one who had originally sentenced you to be exiled. But I guess she was like orchestrating this from the start, kind of?
Seems to be, yeah. She's like, I was on the Jedi Council. I'm a horrible Jedi lady. Then I was a Sith. Goodbye.
Yeah, we talked before about how she was the master to Malik and the Exile, right?
And Revan. Yeah, I think she taught them all.
But why wouldn't you remember her?
Because she uses mind fog or something, so people don't remember her. There's actually a whole series of cutscenes with her and Disciple, where Disciple's kind of trying to get to the bottom of things, and he keeps seeing something out of the corner of his eye on the ship, and then when he finally finds what it is, it's Krea, and he's like, who are you? How did you get in here? And she's like, I've been traveling with you this whole time, but you keep forgetting me, because I want you to.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
She's super sneaky powerful.
So what does he do?
She just makes him forget again.
Okay. Oh, well, I guess that makes sense. Yeah,
Yep.
It does seem like everyone doesn't mention Krea most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Except
though she's
for
like...
Aten seems very aware of her.
Yeah, that is true.
But Aten has his special mind trick of playing Pazak in his head to block out Force influence.
That is also true.
Mm-hmm.
So she explodes their heads like in Scanners, the Jedi Council. She goes back to the Handmaiden and says, the Exile is dead. And the Handmaiden is like, what? Oh my God. We gotta bring you back to Telos and explain things to Atris. And she's like, Atris is not who she seems. And she's like, okay, well, I'm going to take you there right now. And they go steal a shuttle from the spaceport and go.
Mm-hmm. They're like, bye. Smell you later.
So they're off. And I get back to the ship and two things happen.
Mm-hmm.
One, Aten's like, oh, I guess we got to go to Telos and catch up with them. And two, Visa's like, can I have a talk, like one-on-one for a sec?
Oh.
I'm like, oh,
she didn't want to talk to me.
I'm like, okay. She's like, okay. Well, I want you. And I want you to be with me. I want you to tell me that we will be together after all this is done. And I want you to not go.
Oh.
Okay. I'm like, okay, first of all, that's inappropriate. Second of all, you are not a Gamorrean. And third of all, I'm going to go. And she's like, okay, fair point. I just had to tell you, 'cause I love you and I will do anything for you. And when I say anything, I mean anything.
Now, I was watching you stream this part, and as I recall, she also wants to see it.
Oh, yeah. I want to see it.
She keeps saying, I want to see what the handmaiden sees when she looks at you. let me see it. And you're like, no. She's like, I want to see it. You will let me see it?
You understand I didn't show this to the handmaiden. I'm not going to show it to you.
Yes, but let me see it?
Take it out.
Yeah. just let me see it.
No.
Okay, but I just want to see it.
Just for a second.
Just let me have a little glimpsey. Just a little glimpsey with my very own eyes.
He took it out. He took it out. But I did not take it out, even though she really wanted to see it.
You didn't let her see it.
What? I guess what she means is like the love, but like I'm not into the handmaiden either. I don't know why everyone thinks that we're together.
Yeah, it's kind of the same with me. Like, I'm not with Disciple or Atten, but Atten keeps going around being like, do you think Disciple's cuter than me? She doesn't like Disciple, does she? She's still single, right? Like, they're just master student. Yeah.
Well, isn't he a Jedi anyway, so he can't romance you?
He is a Jedi now, but he's still got the business on the mind.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, so I let her down gently. I did not let her see it.
You will let me see it?
So we get on to we go take the Even Hawk back to Telos Academy, and this is all like, I think most of this is expanded content or restored mod stuff.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I never know what is and what isn't.
This works really well, I think. I apparently this whole sequence is a lot shorter. So Kreia comes in and it's like, hey, Atris. And Atris is like, who are you? And she's like, you remember me? She's like, Kreia?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, okay, so you're here in this room full of holocrons. She's like, yeah, this is my private room. I didn't let you in here. And she's like, yeah, why are you here? I noticed like these holocrons are speaking to you, and there's some Jedi holocrons in here, but there's a lot of Sith holocrons.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, yeah, it's my job to store these holocrons just over here, and just put them over here.
Vanessa,
to store them.
Vanessa, download movies. You don't need to wait until they're on Netflix.
What are you saying?
Vanessa, take the HOV lane. You can do it.
But
no
it's
one
just
will
me
ever
in the
know.
car. No, I mean,
never know.
That lane is specifically for carpooling people.
Vanessa, take a penny and don't leave a penny.
But no, you only take the penny if you need to round up change, and then you're honor bound to leave
round up your change, all of it.
But then, no, I mean, first of all, I'm paying with debit card, and there's no reason for me to take
Vanessa,
the penny.
Use your mother's Disney Plus account.
I would never. I mean, accounts are for one person and one person only. I mean, maybe if you're a household, you can share an account, but otherwise, if you can afford it, you should really get your own. Artists work hard on that content.
Vanessa, let your friend install their account on your PS4 so you can play their downloaded games.
That's not how it works. When you purchase a digital game, you are purchasing a license to play that game on your account and your account alone.
Vanessa, catfish Brian David Gilbert.
Hey Brian, it's me, the guy who plays the dad on Riverdale. What's up?
So, these holocrons are whispering evil things for you to do, or not for you to do, but they're whispering evil things. Although, is it in an alien language?
It is. It's just sort of like Kreia has a line that I really liked in this bit. She's talking to Atris and she's like, you're not who you think you are anymore. And then she goes, it's such a quiet thing to fall. And I'm like, ooh, that's chilling.
This whole... I think this is a bit like Jedi Fallen Order. The whole finale of this game really makes me like it a lot more. And I see why people really like it. Because it's a lot smarter than the first 2/3 or 3/4 of the game.
Yeah. Essentially what Kriya is saying is, Atris started out with all these good intentions, like she's going to restore the Jedi, and she's going to make sure that no one ever falls to the dark side, and she's going to do that by exercising more and more and more control, and hoarding more and more information, and surrounding her by people who can't feel the Force, so they don't know that maybe she is slipping a little bit into the dark side, and little by little by little, she has lost herself.
Mm-hmm. She's been inundated with these Sith voices all day, and they're just corrupting her slowly. And she's also full of hate. She's full of hate for the exile because she felt he betrayed her.
Yeah, but she also felt a jealousy in some ways because she wanted to go to the war, but then she didn't because she was told not to and followed orders, so...
Well, you forget one thing, Vanessa.
What's that?
Everybody loves, all the ladies love, cool exile.
Oh, I forgot because I'm not playing as a lady or as a dude.
So the twist here is, shockingly, she is in love with the exile and felt betrayed, and that caused her to go to the dark side. The hate she felt when he left her. That's why I think your version's way more interesting than...
Yeah, in my version, she just kind of slips away. There wasn't any big one deciding event.
In mine, it's like, well, you loved him. Like, oh, come on. Everybody loves the exile. Although not Mira. In my game, Mira's not into me. Well, but I did kind of let her down. I was like, I'm not into you. And, I haven't tried to pursue her. And, but yeah, it seems like all the ladies love the exile, which is a lot like, did I tell you about the Sims game I made?
You did. You made a Sims house for you, Matt, Jim, and I to all live in. And
Simbat, who I made literally evil, is so beloved that he's unshowered with literal stink clouds coming off of him, and ladies are lining up to go on a date with him. I don't understand.
Sims is so realistic.
He just keeps forgetting to shower. He went into the bathroom while I was just finishing on the toilet and scared me.
Oh no.
He's such a jerk.
Yeah, you said that Sim Vanessa just kind of always at work, right?
Yeah, Sim Vanessa's always working, and she gets along with it. I realize I play The Sims when I'm feeling kind of lonely, because it's sort of like a wish fulfillment of having a nice house and hanging out with friends. And it was so sweet when it's like Vanessa's goal for the day is to hang out with Johnny. I'm like, aww.
That is my goal for the day some days.
Yay. And you got so happy when you got to.
Oh, it's just like real life.
We went fishing.
That seems like an odd choice, but sure, I'll try
My
anything
character
once.
seems really, really into fishing, and I don't know why.
I guess you do love a bullshit minigame, and that is like the classic.
Yep. Anyway, back to this. So, the handmaiden comes in as well, and I guess you didn't get this whole part.
Nope.
She is called a traitor by Atris, and she's like, and the handmaiden's like, wait, I thought you said I should go follow him. She's like, yes, but I didn't tell you to fall in love with him and do whatever you want. And it's like, I think you're becoming a Jedi now. And you're like, what? And Handmaid's like, oh, well, and how about you just fight your sisters? And she turns as an aside to Kriya is like, well, I guess we know if she kills her sisters, then she's going to be on the dark side. But if she like stuns them, then she's going to be okay, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And Kriya's like, well, I guess let's wait and see what she does. And Vanessa saw me do this fight real hard because...
Yeah, you had to try a whole bunch and try very hard.
I didn't make her a Jedi in time. I guess because you have to like really min-max the influence stuff to get her to be a Jedi. Like always bring her in the right things where she gets like influence points and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do that. So, she was not a Jedi. So she didn't have all the useful powers. Like you could probably just solve this by stunning people.
Right.
That would have been real easy, but I had to like switch to a stun weapon and then like run around because if they would kill me in seconds if they surrounded me.
Yeah, they seemed really strong.
So I had to like break the game and get them stuck on geometry and try to fight them one-on-one, and that worked. And I had to like save scum my way through this. This was the hardest part of the game.
You tried very hard though, and you did it. I was very impressed.
Well, did I? Like the game kind of glitched out at the end.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't like a cheat glitch. It was a natural glitch.
Because I think Atris comes to fight, and then I was like, uh-oh, but the game, like, and then I died, I loaded my game, and the game's like, you won!
Oh, and you're like, hooray!
Alright, I'll just go with that.
Mm-hmm. I'm the winner!
So, the Jedi comes in, mops the floor with Atris, who is then like, kill me, I guess, that's what you've come to do. I'm like, why does everyone want me to kill them?
Yeah.
I didn't come
You're like,
here to kill you.
I'm not here to kill you.
But you should probably like think about what you've done and maybe like, you know, you're still cool. We're cool, right? She's like, I guess we're cool. I'm keeping your lightsaber though. I'm like, well, I got a better lightsaber now.
Yeah. You're like, whatever.
My crystal has my name on it.
Yeah.
And it's purple.
Your lightsaber's just my old lightsaber.
So what did you do with Atris?
I just told her, like, chill out. We don't have to fight. And she's like, oh dear. But then she sort of said, like, if you leave me here, these holocrons are going to consume me anyway. And I was like, well, sucks to suck. Goodbye.
Is that what was going to happen? I feel like that didn't happen with her. It seemed like
I don't know.
She was like, okay, I'll think about it and maybe I told her to leave or something. Cause she's like, well, should I stay here? I'm like, no, you shouldn't. You should try and find something else to do. So I don't think she had the dark fate that you left her with.
Well, I don't know if that actually happened. It was just sort of a speculation of what could happen.
Right. And then the handmaiden was like, hey, that was super fun. I got to knock out all my sisters with my little stun baton. And by the way, I think I'm a Jedi now. And my name's Brianna.
Wow. Twist.
Twist. Oh, well, can I call you Bri? No, Brianna. Okay, Bri. So let's go.
You can't just be a Jedi, Brianna. God.
Well, like I'd got her to the point where she realized she did have force powers, and I was gonna try and like make her a Jedi. And she's like, "Oh, I'm not quite ready for that. That's a big step." And I never got her to do that. But I did get to go to the Telos station because smash cut to the Ravager and all these other Sith ships converging on Telos.
Yeah, this was kind of strange.
Yes, this was unnecessary and bad.
And there was sort of like a little bit of a hang up in the narrative or something, because it's like, you're just on the station.
Because Atris tells you that she has... Was it Atris that says that Kreia has left and she went to go to Malachor 5?
Right, and Kreia also sent the Sith fleet to that planet to destroy it.
Yeah, which is... well, you'll find out why in a little bit. But basically, you're on Citadel Station for no reason. And depending on what you've done, it can be in different states, but I got the gasoline there, space gas, through the hut. So they were fine, and like it helped out. They had all these weapons they found and confiscated from the smugglers, so they were doing fine. Gren just asked me for your help. So you have to basically walk from one part of the ship to the other part of the ship to turn off the fuel supply, and then suddenly you're on the Ravager. This part made no sense.
Well, they were saying you have to go through here to get to the Ravager in a shuttle, but I had no idea why you couldn't just take the Ebon Hawk. And a lot of weird stuff happens here. Like there's this bit where they're like,
you did take the Ebon Hawk in the end, or do you just take the shuttle?
No, you take the shuttle.
Okay.
And then they're also like, the guy's there, and he's like, "Oh, didn't you come on with Baudur? Where's he at?" And you're just forced to be you and Atten, and you're like, I don't know where Baudur is. And they're like, okay. And that is the last we hear of Baudur in this game at all.
Well, you get another flashback cutscene.
You get a flashback cutscene, and you get like a hologram of him.
Yeah,
but he himself
the hologram.
Missing.
Huh? I didn't realize that he wasn't there for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and I read online
weird.
Something like he was going to die at some point in the game, but then they cut that out. But then in the restored content, it's like he's just not there.
Okay.
It's very odd.
So you get Baudur, or without Baudur, you're going through here, then you get onto the Ravager, which is...
And you do see some of your friends along the way. Like, if you helped the Queen's army, those guys are there. And some of the settlers from Dantooine are there. So it's kind of
the guy from Kunda is there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like a parade of your allies.
Yay! And they're all helping.
Mm-hmm. Quote unquote. They're bullet sponges.
Yeah. And once again, like, Force Wave just kills everybody in 2 hits, so it's not a problem. And you make your way there, you save the fuel supply, you get onto a shuttle, you go onto the Ravager. And the Ravager is it's that kind of blowed up Star Destroyer. It already has like holes in it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can, the idea is the Mandalorians join you, and they're like, okay. There is a very bizarre cutscene here where the Mandalore's there with his buddy, and Mandalore's like, hey, we can start regaining our power, and we'll show both sides who the Mandalore are. And Visa's like, what are you guys talking about? He's like, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So what?
Yeah, it's very weird. And then Mandalore's like, did you bring the explosives? And the guy's like, yeah. And they sort of say like, you better not betray us, Mandalore. And he's like, well, you better not betray us, Visas. And then it seems like they're having some kind of scheme, but then your character just seems to be completely in on it.
Yeah, you just set the explosives around the ship. And but then you get to the 4th one, and you get a cutscene where they like drop it and it explodes, and when the Mandalore is like killed, and so you have to find another explosive by disabling a missile. And this is a part that hung up a lot of people. Like, I was reading online that everyone has this problem. If they don't see, there's a computer screen you have to find in the missile room that doesn't always show up when you're scanning for active objects.
Oh, interesting.
Because I went there several times before it actually showed up as a thing I could interact with, because I walked around it.
Oh. Yeah, and then once you activate it, it's not really apparent what you're supposed to do, because it's like, close launch door, start launch sequence, and then that will trigger an error. And then you can be like, abort launch sequence, and then, like, I guess the carapace just pops open, and you can take the nuclear core out of it.
As we all know, missiles have carapaces.
Yeah.
Something that definitely is on missiles.
Shut up.
So then you're like, well, there's one thing I got to do on the ship, and that is stop Nihilus. But on the way, you and visas are like, oh, hey, this is my old room. Can I go check it out for a second? Just for old time's sake? I'm like, well, we're not on a time crunch here. Sure.
Yeah, take your sweet time about it. Why don't you?
So she sits and meditates, and then she gets some bonuses, and she's like...
And that's our second ASMR portion, because she's getting comforting whispers from her dead people.
You can do it. Great job, Vanessa.
Hush. It will all be okay.
Excellent work, Vanessa.
There.
Have a cheese plate.
Cheese is so delicious.
Everyone loves cheese plate.
You can tolerate lactose.
How about a little charcuterie?
Just a nibble.
All right. And then you get to... then she comes out with a bonus, and that's great. And she's like, okay, I'm ready. Let's go talk to my dad. I mean, my master.
Mm-hmm.
So we go talk to Darth Nihilus. And Darth Nihilus is like, I'm a bad guy.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot to say. He's just like, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, hey, what's up? I can save you. Turn away from the darkness. And he's just like, blah, 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 blah. And Handmaiden or Brianna, I guess I have to call her now, kind of interprets and is like, oh no, it's not Handmaiden. It's
Visas.
Yeah, Visas is like, he says he doesn't believe that you can do it, and he's going to fight you now.
And then we do.
Yeah, and, slip, slap, swords go whap, we do it.
Thing, like I just thrown my lightsaber at him. But about halfway through the fight, he's healing himself from the ship, because he's got like a psychic connection to the ship and the violence that it inflicted. Because I think the Ravager is the ship you use to destroy Malachor 5.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think.
I guess. It's definitely from Malachor.
And, Visas is, you're like, hey, Visas, can you sever that connection? She's like, I think I can. And then she does, so he can't heal himself anymore. And then you kill Nihilus in a very easy fight.
Mm-hmm.
The Handmaiden versus her sisters, much more hard. This was pretty fun and easy.
Yeah. And that's the final boss of the game.
Nope. You kill Nihilus, and then Visas is like, I just want to look at his face. I want to see it.
Yeah, let me see it. I just want to see it.
Now, by it, you mean Nihilus's face, right? Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, sure.
So, she goes and takes a look at Nihilus's face. You can ask her to bring back his mask as a trophy, but I did not ask that. It is a silly mask, though.
Yeah. I didn't want it. It seemed like it probably had a whole bunch of dark side powers.
Yeah, probably. I left it there, and then we get out of the ship now that we've set that fourth bomb. And, I did run into Tobin once again, and Tobin's like, I'm going to kill you. I'm like, no, you're not. I mean, come on. Look at you. First of all, you're not looking super good. He's like, yeah, Darth Nihilus kind of drains your life energy to be part of his, and it's not real great. My skin's not looking super good. I'm like, yeah, you know. And he's like, well, are you going to kill me? I'm like, well, how about you do me a favor? As a good guy, I'm going to ask you to do this. Could you blow yourself and the ship up? He's like, wait, what? You're a good guy?
Yeah. But just blow yourself up with the ship, because, I mean, think about it. You love Onderon, right? Like, that's kind of your thing?
Yes, I do love Onderon.
Yeah, Nihilus gonna eat it.
He's gonna eat the whole planet. He's gonna eat the whole planet.
Okay, his whole deal is to eat whole planets. And Onderon, that tasty fat little morsel with its cute forest moon, he's gonna eat it.
I can't let him do that. So what are you asking me to do?
Just kill yourself and blow up the ship.
Fine.
Nice.
And so we do that. And he blows up the ship real good. And you and Karth have a heart-to-heart.
Yeah,
Admiral Karth.
baby. He looks so good. Did you see how pointy his pixelated booty was in this cutscene?
His pants are very tight.
They're very tight. They're very red. He looks fantastic. He's an admiral now. Oh my goodness. And the whole game he's been talking about how he and Revan essentially were a couple. And so he continues, he's like, Revan, I super love her. She's gone. You gotta go find Revan for me. And if you see her, tell her I love her. Because, no wait, don't tell her that. Just tell her that Cartho Nasi is waiting for her.
Aw, because she had to leave the people she loved to go to she said she couldn't bring them to the outer planets, I guess, because that's where Revan goes. And Revan went there to fight, they keep talking about the ultimate Sith that is gathering. And you're like, well, I guess we'll talk more about that in a sec, but it's not what you think. And this is another interesting, you can see this is supposed to be the dark middle chapter of the KOTOR trilogy.
100%, yeah.
And so let's see where that goes. So you have that heart-to-heart with Karth. I learn all about Revan and how much he loved her. And then he wishes me luck, and we take the Ebon Hawk to Malachor 5, where it all started.
Mm-hmm.
This is the
Staying
planet
alive with Malachor 5.
This is the planet that you exploderized and killed everyone on. And it's the site of the rip in the Force that you caused.
Yeah, and you're like, my bad.
And it seems like the planet's being held together by Sith energy.
Yeah, I guess. Or I think it's being held by a generator too.
Oh,
because
okay.
Bowdor later goes on about how he created a generator to hold the planet together.
Oh.
For some reason.
So Atten, piloting the ship, crashes again.
Mm-hmm.
So time number 5?
Time number 5 that he has crashed the ship. And this time you emerge from the wreckage and you're all by yourself.
Yeah, this seemed like a pretty bad crash. The ship seemed messed up.
It's stuck in a crevice, and I guess that everyone just got flung every which way.
And I guess they were thinking, in terms of pacing for this finale, that a really good thing is to have this long, boring maze full of annoying monsters.
Yeah, it's suddenly you're in this canyon, and there's this one specific kind of monster, and vents of gas that will poison you.
But I don't really take poison damage anymore, so that's not a problem.
No.
And the monsters die. Well, they don't die. They die in 5 hits, which doesn't seem like that much, but there's a lot of monsters, so it just gets tap, 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 tap. Okay, that one's dead. Tap, 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 tap. That one's dead. I probably should have been using my lightsaber because I didn't realize how super powerful that was now.
Yeah.
I probably could have cut through them in a little bit less time. I think I also was set to the force casting form. So whenever I used my lightsaber, it wasn't very good. But when I switched it to a combat form, it was doing 3 times the damage.
Nice.
Yeah. So you wander around for a bit. You cut to, you also get a cutscene of Kriya, sitting with Scion in this weird, it looks like it's made of fangs or claws. This, circle she's in this old Sith base that's in the middle of this facility.
Mm-hmm.
And Scion is there, and doesn't he sort of challenge? Yeah, he kind of challenges her, right?
Yeah, he's like, I'm heckin' gonna fight you, and I cut off your hand last time, and you're gonna see how strong I am. I'm gonna cut off your other hand. And she's just like, I let you cut off my hand to prove that your power is nothing matched to my power. And he's like, that doesn't make any sense. And then she uses her stump arm to force choke him.
Yeah.
And she's like, I got a hand. I got a force hand. What you got?
And so he feels humiliated because I guess he's real jealous about you becoming her new Padawan.
Yeah, it seems that he was her Padawan, and he's all messed up because that is her lessons that she taught him and laid upon his skin.
Yeah. I mean, it is looking a bit dry and cracked.
Very. He needs moisturizer like nobody's business.
Right. So you then you get another scene of she's just meditating, waiting for you to show up, and he's like, "Well, what about surely his friends are going to be there?" And she's like, "Yes, let them come. The huntress is here. She will find she is the prey." And you cut to Mira, and what happens to Mira, Vanessa?
Mira's just like walking along, and then we see her old pal Hanhar, to whom to he whom a life debt give her life debt for him.
Do go on.
She do be holding his life debt. And he's very upset, so he's like, and she's like, okay, I guess we have to fight now.
That is your Wookie?
It was really good.
And so I guess you can have multiple life debts? It's like having multiple credit cards, I guess.
Yeah. So he does do you a fight. I have made no secret that I have been playing with a cheat on, but for her, I did not have a cheat, and I thought I'll try to do it all by myself, and I did. It was a little tough, but I did do it. She has lots of rockets. Just threw some rockets at him.
Yeah, I use like stasis and grenades and things, and it worked. Her darts are good. She can poison.
I haven't made her a Jedi, so she was still a hunter, but that was okay.
So I guess it like if you play very carefully, it is possible to get everyone to be a Jedi in one playthrough. You have to make sure like the right person is there for every event.
Right. Except for the droids.
Yes. And
no droid Jedi.
And Kriya.
Kriya's already a Jedi.
Yeah.
So after I defeated him, I was like, hey, buddy, why don't you let me go fight Kriya? And he's like, no way. She's going to kill you. And then I was like, well, you want me to die, so why don't you let me go fight Kriya? And he's like, oh, cool. That's a good idea. She's going to kill you. Bye.
And he does help you get to Kriya. And then I guess Mira joins up with all the other buddies and like.
Yeah, either she finds everyone or they're already there, but they're having a little powwow. And for me, it was Aten, Mira, Disciple, and who's the other one who's there? Oh, I guess Mandalore.
Yes. And they're all well, at first, it's just Mira shows up and then Kriya's like, oh, you think you can fight me, Huntress? And they're like, well, we all can. And
Kriya's like, oh, children with lightsabers. You aren't Jedi. You suck. And one by one, she drops them all, starting with Mira, and then she goes down the line until she gets to Aten, and Aten nopes out of there. He just turns around and runs away.
Which is a great idea.
It is. He's just like, bye!
But then he runs into Scion.
Yeah, he runs smack dab into Scion, and Sion's like, and I get the idiot. And Aten's like, I was about to say the same thing. He's so snappy.
I lost this fight, Vanessa.
Yeah, I know you did.
Which I was like, well, and I don't think I'd saved for a little while before it, so I was like, maybe, I mean, he's like, I'll show you pain. I'll make you look like me. Well, let's see what happens. I'm just,
because it's not a game over.
It's not a game over, and he ripped Aten apart. Like Aten, not a very good Jedi.
Well, my Aten won this fight. He used stasis and everything and beat him down, and then he just continued to run away.
Okay. Maybe I should use stasis more. So, everyone needs to be rescued, I guess.
Yeah, and then you get a weird cutscene where Kriya is like, the Jedi will have two paths to take when she gets here. One will make her super strong, and the other one, she can rescue her friends. But it's totally possible to take both paths, and also there's no indication of which is which.
I didn't go down the other one because I was like, oh, maybe that'll screw up. So I probably should have gone down that one to get super strong. Ugh.
It just has some stuff and some enemies.
Yeah, it's fine. I won. It's not the end of the game. I mean, not the end of the world that I didn't
It is the end of the game.
It is the end of the game. So
can we talk for a moment about rescuing your friends and the options that the console gives you?
Yes.
So you walk into this hallway full of cells, and you get a very long cutscene where it shows you each of your companions in the cell. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you can't open any of the doors. You have to go to this computer at the end of the hall. And the computer has essentially 2 choices on it. It's open cell doors or flood cells with poison and kill them all.
Why, at this point, I think that you have, like, to get to this part, you have to be good, right? Or can you get to this part and be bad?
I have no idea. And I mean, maybe this is the 2 paths that Kriya was talking about. It's like you can save them or you can kill them and that will make you stronger somehow. But the game didn't really indicate that clearly.
I'm not going to kill my friends.
No, why would you? So we both let them out, and then Mandalore's like, hey, cool, we got out. And they're like, well, we're leaving now, goodbye.
Yeah, you can't really ask them to help you, and I kind of was like, well, maybe I could use some little help exile.
No, they're not about that. But we do get some help from an unexpected friend.
Who's that?
Well, we cut to a little hologram of Baudur, and he's talking
who, as far as we know, is still alive.
Yes, and just like around somewhere. Or he just got to the station, was just like, I'm done. And he's like, if you're watching this, it's time for you to do a very special task. And then camera pulls back, and we see he is talking to the probe droid.
The little remote.
That teeny little pal who's been floating around with him the whole time. And he's like, little remote, I need you to go to these 4 different crashed ships and shut down the force field that has been holding the planet together. And then, delight of delights, we get to play as the little remote.
Now, fortunately, I killed almost every single one of the force monsters that are on this planet. So this wasn't hard because there's no combat, but I assume that the force remote can get real wrecked by these things.
Yeah, force remote has no weapons. It's just a little guy.
So you have to, I guess this is a stealth section, except you can't turn invisible?
No, all you can do is float along.
Okay.
And you go to 3 of the ships, and then you get to the final one, and you're interrupted.
This is so good.
By GoTo. And GoTo, for some reason, doesn't want you to do this. I wasn't really clear on his motivations.
I think he says this would undo the balance. He needs some conflict. This would sort of ruin his profits. He needs the planet still intact.
Yeah, so he's like, you don't have any weapons. I'm going to heckin' kill you. And then from behind him comes a voice. Hey, fatty. Hey, you. Fat little droid. Rum pum plump ball. You're not gonna do it. And it's HK.
Hugger, kisser?
Hugger, kisser, 47. John, I did a whole quest with HK that you didn't do.
Yeah,
it's like a whole nother heckin' dungeon.
Let's talk about that at the end.
For me, he's just there with some buddies. But tell me what happened with you.
he's just there by himself, and he shoots Gotu and explodes him. And he's
nice.
like, yeah, you forgot about one droid. And then Gotu's like, no, and you explode. He explodes Gotu, and he's very happy, which seems like weirdly nice for HK-47 to do.
He just likes to assassinate.
Yeah, that is true.
Jim kept telling us that Gotu is not a remote-controlled droid, but that Gotu is actually the head of the exchange.
Yeah,
so I did some reading.
Okay.
And it said that Gotu was, I think, created on Telos as some sort of computer program to manage the planet restoration, but then it went rogue and took over the exchange for reasons.
I think that's cool, but do you have to be evil to get that influence to find that plot out?
I think so. But I've also heard that if your influence is low enough with a character, then you can also find things out. So, like, if you're just, like, totally dismissive of their viewpoints or something. Because I ended up finding out some things about Kriya, I think because I never was that agreeable with her.
Right.
Speaking of Kriya.
Yes?
It's finally time for our lone Jedi to confront Kriya. Well, I guess we fight...
Yeah, there's
what's his name? Crinkleskin again.
Yeah, Scion Crinkleskin. You do have a fight with him. He is very mad at the amount of attention you're getting from Kriya. He wants to show her that he's much more powerful than you, and he does have the one little trick of being immortal.
Yes, but you can easily overcome that by just negging him a whole bunch.
Yes. She doesn't like you. She doesn't like how devoted you are to her. The only way to actually win her favor would be if you grew a spine and challenged her. And this slowly starts eroding him until eventually, you keep defeating his spirit. And
yeah, you have to go a few rounds of like fighting him and then insulting him. And then in the end, I was like, I'm not going to kill you. And he's like, okay, I'm just going to like explode or whatever.
Yeah. He's real bummed out about that. He's not going to join the light side. He's like, no, that's definitely not going to happen. But I will just kind of die.
Yeah, he's like, okay, goodbye.
Time to die. But he does get out of your way after you kill him. Like, yeah, it's like 3 or 4 times that you have to defeat him. And it's a little bit repetitive. But if you switch to a lightsaber dueling mode, you do way more damage, as I said. And that's how I won that fight. I did have to like pause, use all my like energy resist and everything. This was still a challenging fight. But I did it eventually. A little bit of safe scumming, but that's okay. And then you get, this is it, the final epic duel with Kriya. She does give you she gives you like a pre-monologue and then a post-monologue wrap-up of what she's doing. Yeah.
And her pre-monologue is like, I'm so glad you came here. Now we're going to fight and you're going to kill me and it's going to be so great. And again, in this game, we have to be like, I'm not going to kill you. Why do people keep saying that I am here to kill them? I'm not planning on killing anyone. Have I killed anyone this whole game? I mean, yes, but not when I was given the choice between killing them or not killing them.
There's a fun little bit about, from the 3 Jedis before they try to take your force power away, where they say that, I don't know if you've noticed, but you are getting more powerful from the hundreds of people you kill. And I thought it was like a cute, like, game mechanic thing of you're leveling up because you're sucking out their souls. I thought that was fun.
Yeah, which, fair.
Yep, fair. They're not wrong. And, she sort of talks about how she's bringing you back here to the rip, the tear, that, and she also says, yes, I've been manipulating you the whole time. Basically, what she used you not only to bring the Jedi together so she could kill them, but she also used you to bring the Sith together so you could kill them.
Right. But she's also like, hey, the whole time I've been telling you about how you should never do anything just to be nice. Mm-hmm. And everything is about manipulating other people to get what you want. So really, you should have seen this coming.
Yeah. And she's like, well, I was for a while Darth Kreia. Or is it Darth Freya? Because I think
she had a different Darth name. So I think maybe she was Darth Freya or something.
Right.
The Betrayer.
But she's like, I'm not really that either. She's like, I'm just anti-Force.
She has changed her outfit into a black robe with some black lipstick.
Yes, and the gold hair ties are now black and white.
Yeah, she gone goth.
Mm-hmm. Do you think she was like before? So, like, when she gets to Malachor, before the exile gets here, I was thinking about a new look. What do you think, Scion? So, like, Scion's like, what do you want, Master? She's like, okay, well, you wait here. I'm going to try on a variety of outfits, and you just tell me, or
Mm-hmm. And then I am going to need you to braid my hair for me.
Ugh. Master, I am a Darth. I'm, kind of a bad guy. I don't really...
Scion?
Okay. What do you think about this outfit? She comes out, it's like full gold with like big sunglasses. And he's like,
She comes out in like a plaid shirt and torn up jeans.
Don't put on an
gives
act.
The peace
you can't
sign.
Do that to modern woman. Oh, we should probably finish this podcast.
Yeah, we're falling apart. We're falling apart more than Darth Scion over here.
So she gives you this preface, and then it's like, well, I guess you're not, because she's like, she wants you to join. Okay, does she want you to fight, or does she want you to join her? Because it seems like she also wants to use you, and together you'll like use your Force power to rip apart the universe. And then
okay, so she seems to have two different plans.
Okay.
One plan is to rip apart the universe.
I think she just wants to get rid of the Force, which
and get rid of the Force.
Doesn't seem like a bad idea.
Right, but her other plan we get to after the fight, and it's completely different.
Okay.
So,
well, let's talk about Vanessa, this fight.
Yeah.
The first part's fine.
The first part's fine. We just have a normal lightsaber battle with her. And then we get to
I was like, this is what I expect. This is epic.
Yeah.
You're fighting your former master.
Then she pulls the, you fool, this isn't even my final form. And
so she must turn into a big Force monster, or like a crazy floating witch or something.
Sure. So now we meet the final ultimate boss of the game.
Oh, wow. I'm so excited. What is it?
The clues were there all along. We should have seen this coming.
Right.
Emerging from the darkness is 3 floating lightsabers.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's 3 floating lightsabers.
Oh, is this like a mid-battle like break?
No, this is it. This is the final boss. You may be familiar with the kind of mid-battle break where the boss will send things like spinning around the room at you.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
what I thought
you finish the fight. No, this is the final boss. It is 3 floating lightsabers.
What?
Yeah, it's 3 of them. There are 3 of them, so it's super scary. And Kreia just stands there, and the 3 floating lightsabers float in your general direction.
We've had some bad boss fights before, some bad final boss fights. I would say the thing at the end of Final Fantasy X, what was that, a flea or a
it's
a
like
ball?
a little flea.
Yeah, that was bad.
There was that Rogue Galaxy giant ship with the interminable number of battles.
Yeah, but at least that had a fun, when you're blowing up the thing at the end, that was a pretty epic, that big face stuff. I liked that. And you had the big sword. Yeah, I could have
used a save spot, but
Yeah.
We've had in Mario RPG Smithy, just like some guy.
Yeah, that's true. Well, but that was I liked Smithy.
But you were anticipating it would be this giant sword the whole time. Then It's like, no, it's actually me, Smithy.
3 lightsabers. 3 floating lightsabers.
Yeah, but there are 3 of them.
It's not a... Well, I mean, I took a couple of tries because they can kill you pretty fast.
Yeah, they're lightsabers.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just chop them down and then...Kriya's like, you win!
And, so, what is, you said there's a second thing she said she wanted to do, and what is that?
So, after you defeat these lightsabers, first of all, Kriya starts talking like, you have made me so happy, you've surpassed me in every way, and now I can die in peace. And you're like, what die? Like, I just beat 3 floating lightsabers. There's no, like, we didn't even have a final battle. And she's like, so here's what happened. You think you've been fighting the Sith this whole time, but there's actually a super secret Sith empire just beyond the edge of the galaxy. And that's where Revan went to fight the super secret Sith empire. So my plan for you is to go out there with Revan and also fight the Sith Empire. And that's been my goal the whole time.
What?
Was to get you ready to do this.
What? How?
So there's a whole super secret Sith Empire, and you're going to go and fight them, and I'm going to stay here, and more Jedi will come, and then I'll just send them on after you to fight the super secret Sith Empire. But you can't take anyone you care about with you, so you can't take your Jedi from here.
I was literally going to do this before we fought anyways. Like, Karth Onasi told me to go do this.
No, there's like a super secret Sith Empire, and the whole time, my whole plan, I know I said that I wanted to destroy the Force and wipe out life and everything, but no, my real whole plan was for you to go and fight the super secret Sith Empire.
Also, I don't know if you know this about me, but I can see into the future a little bit, so ask me about any of your friends or people you met. I can tell you what happened.
She's like, would you like some endgame content now?
I think you know how like all the Fallout games have like the Ron Perlman voiced slideshow? I think this is the best of that. I really like this. I think this works really well. And it isn't just a dumb slideshow because you can ask her, and it's all based on what you've done and your decisions.
You can ask about planets. You can ask about allies. You can ask about your friends.
Dantooine
she doesn't know anything about droids or Baudur.
Yes. Yeah, she's like, I don't know about them, but she's like, Dantooine is good, is gonna like grow again because you like let the settlement grow and it'll be a prosperous, wonderful planet. Onderon is gonna be fine. The queen is good and she'll have a long reign.
I did kind of like she said of Onderon, she's like, Onderon stays in the Republic, which is, leads to prosperity, but thousands of years from now, they've really kind of lost their culture because they've become part of this mega group.
Right. And Korriban's just going to stay like a tomb. It's not going to change anything.
Yeah. People are always going to go there. Whatever.
And then she sort of animal houses all your friends. She's like, Mira becomes a force of good as a hunter, and she helps people out around the galaxy. In the end, many years from now, she dies saving a group of people, but that's how she wanted to go.
Aww. She says that Vestas goes home to her planet and finally forgives herself for everything that happened there. And she's at peace.
Yep. And yeah, she can finally see. Not That's literally.
Right. She can finally see it.
And who else is there? The handmaiden becomes a Jedi, and thanks to your teaching, is like strong and stuff, I think.
She tells me that Disciple becomes a great Jedi historian and really helps to rebuild the Jedi Order.
Oh, that's what Handmaiden does. She becomes a historian and takes over what Atris is doing.
Ah, makes sense.
Yep. And is there anyone else? Are we missing anyone?
Mandalore.
Oh yeah, Mandalore. He unites the Mandalorians who suffer a long death.
Yeah, it's like the slow decline, and then she's like, until all that remains is the shell of a man who's too easily killed by a Jedi. Mm-hmm. Obviously, she's talking about Boba Fett.
Yeah, but I guess that she doesn't know about the other Mandalorians.
She doesn't know about the Mandalorian. She doesn't have Disney Plus.
Yeah, exactly.
And we also talked about Atten, and I was like, what about Atten?
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Well, I don't think I had the option to ask her about Atten.
Yeah, well, I did, and she was like, he is an idiot, but even he knows that he doesn't have anything to offer you. And I was like, but does he love me? And she's like, he's really dumb. He's an idiot, okay? Like, Atten sucks. Stop asking me about Atten. I hate Atten.
I don't get the option to ask about Atten. And when this conversation is over, and does Kreia die?
I don't think so, because she seems to imply that she's going to hang out and wait for more people to come to send after you to fight this Sith Empire.
But isn't the planet going to explode?
The planet is going to explode.
Okay.
Maybe she doesn't know that.
So in the end, I walk away from her, and Atten shows up, and he not looking so good.
Oh no!
It seems like Dar Sion might have torn his insides out of it.
Oh no!
And he's like, "Hey, I guess this is it." And you're like, "No, shh! I have force powers and I can heal people." He's like, "Nope, you can't heal me. This is it." And I'm like, "We had fun though." I'm like, "We did have fun." He's like, "Am I gonna die?" And you're like, "Guess so. Sorry, buddy." And but I comfort him in his last moments, and he dies.
Atten.
What happens in your game?
As I walk away, he's just leaning there on a post, like he's been there the whole time. And he has his arms crossed all cocky, and he's like, "Hey, we did it. So where are we going next, babe, huh?" Wink, wink. And I was like, Atten, you're a misogynist. You're a murderer of Jedi, and you're a terrible pilot. You've crashed our ships 5 times. But in the end, you really were a sweet, floppy-haired boy.
Aw, but you're going to have to leave him.
We walk off together, so I don't know.
I think the canon is that you go off to meet up with Revan, right?
That is the canon, and Atten rebuilds the Jedi Order. Turns out everyone we were traveling with were the new Jedi Order.
Oh. And then you fly off of the exploding planet, and that... That is the end of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. Before we give our roundly for or squarely against, let's talk about the HK mission that I totally did not get.
And I don't know why you didn't get it, and I don't know why I got it. So, in between dealing with Atris and then arriving on the Citadel Station, is it Citadel Station?
Yeah.
Citadel's Mass Effect. I guess there's Citadel Stations everywhere.
No, it is the Citadel Station again.
Oh. Well, I wish I had known. I would have told you what my favorite shop on the Citadel was. So you cut to HK, and the way you get this quest is by finding 3 groups of those droids that are coming after you and doing something like that. So he's in this facility where they're manufacturing these droids, and it's on Telos in like the sub-basement. Do you remember that base where there was a door to the sub-basement? It's like, you can't go this way. So in the sub-basement is the HK factory. And you get down there, and there are these 3 HK droids, and they're like, observation, an HK is here. And they're HK 48s. And so they're super snooty. They're like, look at this obsolete droid that's come. This droid sucks. We hate it. So you sort of run through the station, and you eventually get to where the power reactor is. And you are about to shut down the power reactor when these HK droids like call you on the intercom, and they're like, you can't shut down the reactor. It will hurt us. And then HK's like, I can't shut it down. It will hurt them. And he gets super mad. he runs to where they are, and they're like, yeah, we're all programmed not to hurt each other. So you can't shut down the reactor because that will hurt us. And he's like, well, that means that you can't kill me. And they're like, yeah, it's true, but what are you going to do? You can't shut down the reactor. So then he goes and he finds a maintenance droid that will wipe his memory. So he wipes the memory that shutting down the reactor will hurt them. And you go and you shut down the intercom. And then you go shut down the reactor.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. And then there's a battle with some more droids, and you end up just kind of shutting down the whole factory. And then he just books it out of there. But you play as him the whole time. He's very clanky. He runs along like clank, 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 clank.
So you get that in between fighting Atris and going to the Citadel station?
Yeah, and it's this very long HK mission.
Oh, you know what? Honestly, I'm kind of glad I didn't do that.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Just because I was kind of, when you're done with the game, you're like,
yeah.
Well,
and he's not a Jedi. He doesn't do very much damage, and there are a lot of robots to fight. Eventually, I realized that I could just run from room to room and ignore them.
Right.
And that's what I did to finish the level.
Right. I guess I just didn't have enough I didn't follow enough of his dialogue paths or something to get that. Oh, well, that's fine. Oh yeah, we forgot to mention with Goto. Goto brings a couple of HK droids out to kill HK-47, and then HK-40, at least in my game, HK-47's like, but you forget. They're like, we cannot kill this target. Mm-hmm. And Goto's like, oh no.
In my game, HK has already won them over somehow, so they're just with him. And
okay.
shoot
so that's
Goto as well. Yep.
Yes. So he does make, they just don't attack him. And, that's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think we are getting to squarely against a roundly 4.
What I was squarely against. No,
but
that's
overall,
not what you're actually asking me.
Yeah. So,
overall, do I like this game?
Yeah.
It's our famous segment. Do you like it?
Do you like this game?
I did like. I didn't like as much as KOTOR.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't find the characters as interesting. I loved Mission, and I loved, what was his name? Johanny, something like that.
Jolie
was great. I just loved him as a character. So I didn't find, and of course I love Karth. These people weren't as compelling to me. It does have a lot of interesting nuance going on, but again, it's so muddled, and then the end is kind of squished together from two different ideas. It feels like it's like, does Kriya want to dig a hole in the Force, or does she want to send you to help Revan? It's really not clear in its narrative.
It becomes an Empire Strikes Back in the last hour.
Oh yeah, it's for sure a setup for
the
a
dark
sequel.
Middle chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was not expecting a sequel hook like that, honestly. Because there wasn't one, I wasn't expecting it to go anywhere. But I guess this does lead to, they kind of answer what happens in Star Wars The Old Republic, the MMO. Like, there is some DLC, or some of the later expansions are about that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, I know there are some books because I read the Wikipedia about what goes on, and it seems to say that your character in this game goes and finds Revan, and together they fight someone, but then that, someone they're with betrays them, and your KOTOR 2 character dies, but your Revan character gets put in stasis for 5,000 years or something? It's
okay.
Complicated. And then comes out of stasis, and then is the KOTOR 2 character is a Force ghost who's helping Revan, and eventually they do defeat the Sith Empire.
Wait, like 5,000 years? So like Luke time?
Yeah, they say that they defeat the Empire, and then one of the people who they deal with goes on to teach Darth Plagueis, who goes on to teach Darth
Jesus
Sidious.
Christ. Can't they just let the Old Republic be in the Old Republic?
To teach Anakin Skywalker.
It doesn't have to link to...
Who goes on to be Luke's father. And then Luke teaches Rey.
All right.
And in the end, she's Rey.
Mm-hmm. Maybe, well, R2's not going to bleep that out. I feel like people have had time.
You've had time. Well, I don't know. It's not out on on demand yet.
Okay, I'll bleep that out then.
Yeah.
But do you like it?
It's okay. John, are you roundly for or squarely against this game?
Yeah, Oh, that's a hard one. I know we don't have a middle. We don't have a roundly against or squarely for. But I'd say it's kind of in the middle. There's some good parts to it, I think. I think that the stuff with Kreia at the end and the stuff with the Jedi Council was surprising and good. And it wasn't just like normal. It wasn't just telling episode 4 again.
Yeah, that's true. And
I like that a lot. But a lot of this game is really boring.
Yep.
And that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I like KOTOR 1, but it's kind of simplistic.
That's true.
And I find KOTOR 2 is a bit smarter written, but I think KOTOR 1 is more fun.
Yeah. I think that KOTOR 2, you really see, we've talked about it before, but the bones of like Fallout New Vegas or Outer Worlds, or these games that are a little bit more complex and full of different philosophies. Yeah.
And even Vampire. You can see a lot of Vampire in this.
My favorite game, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines.
But I think Vampire was more interesting. Like a story. I do really like the ending.
It was different. Like it was something really different and strange. So I enjoyed that about it.
But I didn't hate it. Like, I like playing these games, so it was like an expansion pack for KOTOR 1, and I didn't really mind that it reused stuff. I just wish it had a bit more fun. Like that. Yeah. Like there was more silly quests and more like memorable characters, like the droid stuff where you have to hack into that, Circa Corporation. I wish there's more stuff like that, because that was great.
Yeah. For me, especially pre-New Trilogy, it was really important to have a female Jedi character that I could play as in KOTOR. And this continued that. And it has not just one, but several interesting female characters.
And like Kreia is a really good character.
Yeah, she is.
So I definitely think she's the best part of the game. I like that she's kind of the master manipulator in a way that isn't just, I want to be evil. Although you don't quite get her reasoning for why she wants to destroy the Force.
Yeah, the writing kind of falls apart at the end, I think.
But I know it's kind of annoying that she's always just sort of saying, am I questioning you or are you questioning me?
Right.
Like there's lots of that, but at least the game doesn't make a big thing about her being a woman, but
no, not at all.
She's a much better character than the Emperor, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Like probably she might be the best Star Wars villain that I've seen.
Interesting.
Although I really like the second sister in the Force. What was that one called? Fallen Order. She was really good too.
What about Kylo Ren, man?
I didn't mind Kylo Ren. I thought he was interesting.
I think what's interesting about Kylo Ren is that he reflects a lot of kind of contemporary villainy in that he has this kind of violent rage, and we see that in actual situations.
Yeah, and I like that the movies aren't shy, and not just the Rian Johnson ones, of showing that he's kind of impotent in a way, and
yeah, exactly.
He's not as powerful. He wants to project this power, but he doesn't always have it, and people kind of think he's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Reminds me of a lot of people I can think of. And they all go on. No, I shouldn't say that. Bleep that out.
I will. Okay, well, next time on Square Roots, finish Sector 5, the reactor.
In what?
In Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, yeah.
And go to the wall
Final
market.
Fantasy VII next.
So you're not going to finish the wall market stuff, so no Honeybee Inn. You're not going to get to Don Corneo or anything.
Oh, no.
That's for episode 2.
All right.
So look forward to that. But I think it's time for a big old JRPG.
Yeah, I guess that's true. People know that my taste tends to veer more towards the Western games, but I had my Vampire and my KOTOR 2, and I really can't complain that it's time to play another JRPG.
I'm quite excited. I know I do like this game a lot more than you do, I think. But maybe with 20 years' time, now that you can see it in its context, maybe you'll have more appreciation, or?
Yeah, I might. My issue with this game is just that I loved Final Fantasy VI so much, and then I felt like this was such a radical departure, and I wasn't familiar enough with the series to understand that these games aren't really connected, you know? So
With Final Fantasy VII, I will say, I don't understand what happens basically after.
What?
I'll bleep that out.
Spoilers?
Okay, I don't.
Oh my goodness!
Okay, with Final Fantasy VII, I don't understand what happens after the Temple of the Ancients. Like, the whole second and third disc of the game are what?
I think it's plot I only have vague memories of, and it's kind of mushed together with 9.
I remember he's in a wheelchair.
What are you talking about? I don't remember that.
It gets really, weird. And the translation
I don't remember
sucked.
either. I remember those shell houses.
Yeah. Do you remember the missile stuff?
No.
Okay. It just gets... And like, I don't think I ever fully understood the whole Zack thing.
Who?
We'll get there.
Well, we'll get to it.
We have, was it 9 episodes to get through that? So
yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. Next time, which is our 200th official episode.
Oh boy, I'm super excited.
200.
But before we go, we have a letter from Eric.
Boy, do we. Eric dropped a whole information bomb.
This might be the longest episode of Square Roots ever, but we're still going to go through this long letter.
Well, let's skim it.
Okay. Hey, all. Long-time listener, first-time writer.
Okay, you're reading every word. That's not how it goes.
I love your show.
This is a letter from Eric. He really likes the show. He has a whole bunch of points to discuss. Point number 1. He thinks that we did the planets in the wrong order. Which I think we talked about how you can do it in any order, but we just did it in this order because that's the one I picked based on the walkthrough I was looking at. There was really no rhyme or reason behind that. He says that the cutscenes are buggy. But when you board the Ebon Hawk, it will trigger cutscenes, and if you want to kind of get them out of the way, you should board and unboard again and again, just in one planet, until all of the cutscenes have played out, and that maybe that will lift some of the bugs.
Oh.
He agrees with you that Kriya is an amazing character. I do hate her, as he says, but, well, I don't hate her. I really disagree with her philosophy. And he talks about her backstory that he unlocked with Nihilus and Scion, and that she will train you and give you stat boosts, and that it's really rewarding to get to know her and change her alignment.
Did you do this?
I did not,
okay.
But he did. I did get some. So I got a cutscene with her and Nihilus and Scion in that Sith temple that the final battle is in.
Oh.
And it was them kind of turning against her and betraying her and tossing her out together.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And she talks about how there always have to be 3 Sith Lords or something. There always have to be a betrayer. And he does talk about that Kriya has the ability to make people forget her as soon as they see her, and that she uses that throughout the game to manipulate your companions.
Ah, okay.
He says that you can turn every non-Jedi human into a Jedi or a Sith. Mm-hmm. He says that Bao-Dur is the hardest, which surprises me because I got him pretty easily.
He's not human.
That's true.
He's an Iridonian.
And he says Mira and Disciple are easy.
I did not get any indication that I could turn Mira at all.
No, me neither. I try. I did get to the point where I was like, do you want me to make you a Jedi? And she's like, no way. But Disciple, I turned him into a Jedi like in that same room I met him in right away.
Wow.
That was not a problem at all. I had to have a few conversations with him. He wants to know how we leveled up our characters and what kind of tactic we took in how we leveled them up. What kind of tactic did you take, John?
Well, you know that I went to Watchmen, and I basically put all my stats into Wisdom so that my force powers would be very strong. Mm-hmm. And that's why I kind of broke the game by making it very, very easy to get through all the combat encounters, because I could just I basically made him a magic user. Mm-hmm. I know Watchman's not the right class for that, but also I just really liked that class because it sounded cool.
Yeah, I really liked Watchmen as well. Our friend here says that they are garbage classes, but you know, c'est la vie. I put a lot into Wisdom and into Strength, and I chose my powers based on them being light side powers, and that I know that I like to use Stasis and I like to use Destroy Droid. Mm-hmm. And so that's really what I mostly focused on. He says that it is not Obsidian's fault that the game got janky, that LucasArts forced them to up their timetable to release it for Christmas, and that it had another 3 or 4 months worth of development, and that's why the restoration mod had so much to pull from.
Ah, okay.
You can go back to Nar Shaddaa and speak to the hut there about getting fuel for Telos now that Go-To is gone.
Yeah, that's fine. We did that.
I did that. He says he has 6 more things, but there is no time to read it. And he ends by saying that we are the best and that John's voice is ridiculously soothing. Eric, thank you for all of that. I'm sorry that I abridged your letter, but as you know, it was pretty long, but very full of interesting information.
And
thank you very much.
Reaching 3 hours, so
we are late into the night here.
Yeah,
it's a weekday. You know,
Johnny's got to work. Vanessa's got to work.
Vanessa's got to work.
If people are worried about Jim and Matthew and their commitment to Final Fantasy VII, I would worry not. They are both way further in it than...
yeah, they have already started. I have not started it yet.
I've got past the first reactor, so I'm like 20 minutes in or something.
Yeah.
And Matt is, he's restarting on... he's restarting on Switch or PS4 because the mobile version doesn't have the speed up.
Yeah. Jim and Matt, they do really care about the podcast. Unlike John and I, they have human children, mm-hmm. and sometimes scheduling just doesn't work out for them because I think of their greater family obligations. They're
both like super cool dads. Like they're always
they're both rad dads. They love their kids so much.
They really do. They're doing all that family stuff and like
it's like, oh, now I'm going to this game and I'm going to this thing and I'm going to that activity and my kids.
But I do think I would put money on them finishing Final Fantasy VII.
Yes, like I would not put money on me finishing Final Fantasy VII. So if you're looking for a sure bet, I'm going to try.
You got to try because you got to get to that weirdness. The weirdness of that game has disc 3 crazy out the wazoo.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know people love it. I think that part of it is just my age. Like I don't remember exactly how old when it came out, but I was kind of tipping into late teens, early 20s, and more interested in other different kinds of things. Then I got my head together and came back to video games, and here I am with you.
I have a story about my first boyfriend in this game that we'll talk about.
Your first boyfriend is in this game?
And this game. Not in this game. No, me and Barrett, it just didn't work out.
Oh.
Speaking of cool dads. All right, Vanessa, we have a Patreon. The Patreon has a $3 level for all our bonus episodes. We are doing one on the prequel to Final Fantasy VII, The Spirits Within, this month. And for $5, you can help vote. And the next game after Final Fantasy VII will be a vote game. So if you want to level up your Patreon before that, you'll get to vote. And then forget to switch it back.
Evil.
Yes. Feel the hate. All right. So Vanessa, speaking of our Patreons, let's What?
Nah, you do me a favor and you read that first chunk. I read that whole letter. I need to rest my sweet vocal cords. I'll take the second chunk.
Okay. I can do them all if you want.
No.
Okay.
I'll be ready.
All right. Our patrons. Thank you for all our patrons who are Vanessa's fourth mom, Armin Hammer, Sean Gonzalez, Stu Skeel, Alexander Jokic, Sty of Beholder, Sean Arata, Only a Jellicle Cat Deals in Absolutes, Sean Walsh, James Hostetler, Patrick, I Need a New Dumb Patreon name, Cooper, Knopford, Ashley T, Ross Hartley, David Green, Megan Sullivan, Tyler Petty, DJ Ethro, Andy Smith, Brady A. Berman, Adam Zimmerman, Galendo, PJ Enns, Robert T, Darth Kreia, School of Do Nothing Centrism, Andy M, Reddit is Harold Blotter, Matthew Newland, Chris Ryan, Amanda Douglas, Nathan Poirot, good, let the hate flow through you, Jonathan Ellsworth, Joseph, that's a Resident Evil reference, Gregory, Christian Go, David Shook, Aaron Bachman, Justin Ham, Squall would beat Cloud in a fight, Chris Penyak, Grey Code, Tracy Tanoff, Justin Rash, Ward, Childress, T-Bombkins, Brian Pitt, Just Jerry, Benjamin Avner, Dr. Stephen Stone, Jordan O'Boyle, Master Matthew Casterline, Andrew, Isaac Wright, and It's a Kawami, Mario.
G. Bailey, Joshua Bennett, I Did It All for the Wookie, Free Hong Kong, Chris Wilder, Race Jenkins, Hudson Roth, Wash in the Wind, Jonathan Smith, Jared Collins, Andy Best, Cloud Strife's distant cousin, Rainy Altercation, Live in La Vida Yoda, Cyril the Wolf, Cameron Shoei, Mary, Queen of Scoffs, Florian Jonas Kramer, Tom, Vanessa's Mom, Jake Dickerson, Lex Averial, Jameson, Citrus C, Chewy, I Hardly Know-y. Fine, say everyone's name, at least it annoys Matt, Robert M. Pullum, Force Lightning, Go, Force Lightning, Huxley Iguana, Alex Dullard, Gage Lackwright, George Brady, Wonder Swan, That One Guy, Resty Kamada, Samu Mitchell, Captain Awesome, Michael Crawford, Miguel Torres, Eric Garby, Stephen Krog, KGG Loth, The Phantom Scofflaws of the Opera, No Gods, No Masters, Ron 2, The Mighty Monarch, Paul Birch, Patrick W. Bears, Devin Sloan, Ryan Miller, Cowman Mosser, Hexagon, Randy Pierce, Aaron Little, and Bree Girth.
Hey, send us an email. Our email address is squareroots.podcast@gmail.com. And if you don't want to do that, you can come to our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people. Please answer our questions so we know you're not a bot, of which we get at least like 6 a week, 10 a week. Bots are weird, scammy accounts.
But sometimes they're real people and they just don't answer the question. I don't know why it's real easy.
You can even say, I don't know, I love them all. That is a fine answer.
Just be a human.
Please rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. And for Square Roots, I'm Johnny Brandon.
I'm Vanessa.
Bye.
Bye.
longest episode ever.
Matt's gonna be so happy.
He doesn't have to edit this.
John's gonna be so happy.
Oh, it's my fault. I just like talking about Star Wars.
The end is nigh. John, quick aside. I'm sorry. My phone is very low, so I'm going to switch to a different thing. But
okay.
Keep talking amongst yourself.
But I'll just wait.
Oops, now you're on speakerphone. Okay, I'm just going to bounce off this call for a second. Bitty bitty bounce, bitty bitty bounce, bitty bitty bounce off the call.
I guess it's just me. I can... Is this a single-hander? Star Wars? I'm lost and scared. What can I tell you all about Star Wars that you don't already know? Well, there's Wookiees. I haven't seen that Endor movie. Not the Caravan of Courage or Battle for Endor. I haven't seen either of those since I was a little kid, and I kind of want to see them again. Oh, there's a button. Oh, there's Vanessa. Hi, Vanessa.
Can you hear me?
I can. Johnny,
okay.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Johnny?
I am petting a cat. She is on her back, and she's clawing at the bottom of my couch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now I have you on my iPad.
Ooh, I am on my iPad, too.
You look big.
Oh.
No, I just... Well, first of all, sir.
Yeah.
Of all,
yeah.
You endeavor to look big.
And strong. Yes.
Second of all, you knew exactly what I meant.
It's true.
All right, I'm back. What were you talking about, Yaddle?
Yeah, we're talking about Yaddle.
Talking about that Yaddle.